I bet those glasses make you see better.
So we're going to get everybody, put on video tab, please. All right, start from the very beginning. It's ahead. No, start it, pause. Start it from the very beginning.
So as we're all very much aware, we are living through a chopped man epidemic, and there's a big shortage of baddies. It's gone so bad to the point that, like, if I see an attractive man, it genuinely makes my day. I was walking on the sidewalk earlier, and I saw a cute guy in his car, so I waved to him, and he smiled back at me. And obviously he drove away after that, but I was like, oh my God, a cute guy? This was at 6:50 p.m. It's 7:17, and I'm still like, oh my God. And I feel like this is gonna power me through my evening. Like, wow, I actually saw an attractive man today. Like, diamond in the rough, needle in the haystack. Seriously. So
all right, pause it.
All very much.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, maybe in the audience, chopped means ugly. So when she's saying there's essentially when she says a chopped man epidemic, she's saying there's an ugly man epidemic. Do you guys, just curious, do you guys agree?
I disagree. I feel like...
What? And just one final addition to this. I've heard a lot of criticisms from women that they think there's way more physically attractive women than there are men. You'll see pretty women all the time, but then you'll like rarely see... This is what I've heard a lot of women say. You'll rarely see like good-looking or attractive guys. So why don't we? Yeah, we'll start with you since you wanted to go first.
I feel like I disagree. I feel like there's women, like, not that like this is like the difference, but like a woman can like get ready and do all this stuff. Like I feel like for guys, there's not really much that they can do to like enhance anything. So I feel like to say that it's not really fair because. Like that's just like naturally what they look like and stuff. But I feel like there's a lot of attractive men. I feel like there's been more attractive men than there's been like not like I feel like more because like not because of Instagram specifically, but like there's more attractive men than there was like before because actually people are starting to care about like what they look like and stuff, you know. As for back then, like people didn't really care about looks at all. As for what I know of, but
I've got an idea. I think that like girls can get boob jobs, lip filler, like, you know, hair extensions. And I think obviously, I mean, men can get Botox and stuff as well, but it's not as commonly done as women. So there's probably going to be more aesthetically pleasing women than men for that reason, maybe.
Yeah, I agree. Because we can like, there's more things that we can do.
We can improve ourselves. We've got
like
makeup,
hair extensions, makeup.
Yeah, we can trick people into thinking we're pretty when we're not, and men can't really do that.
I think it's also regional. So like, for example, I've been in LA for I think 2 days, and honestly, I haven't like seen one guy that I'm like, oh, he's like really attractive. I think it's also just my type. Back home in Florida, it's full of cowboys and actually manly men, like guys with not even muscle, but just like some fat on them. Every man that I've seen here is very feminized or just gay, and I don't know, just not really, I don't know, maybe it's just LA, but I think it's regional. If you stick in LA, you're not going to see a lot of men that
not as masculine. The men.
Yeah, I agree. And California, there isn't really that many. Well, not Cali altogether, but LA specifically, there is more feminine men. That's for sure, because it's more like a fashion state. I feel like it's a lot more like fashion stuff like that. So they kind of like tend to like be a little bit more of like pretty boys. But
no, I'm telling like country bars back home. Like you walk in and. It's
like in Texas?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Texas, I see some sexy guys.
We experienced that when we went to Texas. We're like, whoa.
Yeah. It is a whole different ball game, that's for sure.
LA is green juice, Texas is steak.
Yeah.
Yummy.
Yeah. So, I totally agree with you. It's regional.
Word. Sorry, one sec, guys. I wanted to actually pull it back up because the comments were kind of interesting. All right. I wanted to ask the panel, going around the table. So she's saying she doesn't see attractive men, chopped man epidemic.
Can we also just point out that chick is fucking ugly? Can I just point out real quick that is a fucking hideous woman who's saying this? Like, just an objectively fucking ugly woman. I just saying.
Oh my God!
I was going to say that in a more polite way, but basically, yeah.
It looks like she's been picking her face off for the last 2 years, man. I don't know what the hell is wrong with her.
I did want
to. She's a foul, hideous-looking woman.
Oh my God! He said no.
I was about to ask though the panel. Do you guys do you think she's beautiful?
He's like, I'm not sugarcoating nothing.
I don't think that she's a stunning 10 out of 10, but I don't think she's really, really, really ugly.
I don't think she's ugly.
I don't think she's ugly, but
bullshit. Hang on, bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. Pull it back up.
I think average looking, average.
Hang on. Oh, come on. Look
Okay, baby, wait. Show me the video again. Show me again.
Oh, she was so...
Pull it up. But then just play the video. Just go ahead and play it.
So as we're all very much aware,
Oh my God, this chick's face is busted.
that's so fucked up.
You know it's true. Am I lying though? Am I lying, or is that chick's face busted as fuck?
I feel like she doesn't really have a place to be really talking about specifics.
Yeah,
but I feel like beauty isn't always about how you look. Beauty is not always about how you look. It's about your personality. But I guess the way she's acting is.
Right, let's pull it back up though really quick. I wanted to read some of the comments on this.
So as we're
all right, scroll down. Damn, seems like you've upset the chopped men. 17,000 likes. They're mad at you because you're right. Danny, Kyra, ignore the positive. Scroll down. Scroll down.
All this man hate has to stop.
All this man-on-man hate has to stop. That's hilarious.
Down. There's some interesting photos. Scroll down.
No one's saying that she's average.
Scroll down.
Come on, this chick is a two-bagger. At least.
Scroll down.
What's a two-bagger? Does that mean when you put it on?
I'm trying to find it. Keep going.
Yeah, you gotta put the bag over their head.
No, Andrew,
You know what a two-bagger is. Come on.
People were posting a bunch of funny
No one's
photos.
saying
But maybe
anything mean.
Oh, she deleted it. Wait, keep going. Just keep going though. Maybe it'll pop up. Damn, she did us dirty because they were all kinds of funny photos on photo comments.
If it's a million views, she could have.
That must have been very time-consuming for her to.
It might be. Maybe it was just on mobile that people were making all these funny edits. Yeah.
Who does she think she is speaking about men like that when she's
I think she
got
has
that
more videos like
face?
that on her channel.
Is that her brand? She's trying to
Maybe she's doing it for what's it called, to trigger people so that she gets more views.
Oh, totally. Of course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure that's exactly what she thought. She was what can me, a hideous wildebeest, do to trigger as many men as I possibly can? Me, a busted ass looking, well below average, hideous woman. What can I do to trigger as many men as possible? And so that's what she did.
You're right.
Damn it,
You're right.
There's a lot, there's a lot of people coming to her defense, though. In fact, maybe we'll pull up my Twitter.
Also hideous wildebeest.
TikTok is kind of like an echo chamber.
Oh, TikTok is the most, it's terrible.
Andrew's really funny.
I find Facebook the worst.
Do you have my Twitter?
No, TikTok is the worst. You know why? You know why TikTok's the worst?
Why?
Because most of the user base, it's 60 or 70%.
Okay.
I think it's 70+% actually, is women. And so when you're on TikTok, especially when you're on the lives, you're in the mind of a woman.
Yeah.
And so it's just absolute carnage and chaos and fucking madness and stupidity all the time. That's why. That's why TikTok is fucking horrible. Horrible.
I had no idea that it was mostly women.
Oh, yeah.
It makes so much sense.
Overwhelmingly.
That's why that. Well, I mean, obviously the comments were deleted, but it makes sense because
Well, that's why
guys would
when
be
Trump was
saying what you're saying, right?
Yeah, that's why when they were like, they're going to delete TikTok, I was like, no, they're not going to delete TikTok. There'll be 200,000 dumbass women tomorrow with signs who'll be like, don't delete my TikTok. Oh my God.
Yeah, that would be me. And before that,
And guess what? I was 100% right. hundreds of thousands of whiny-ass women who are like, no, we have to have the Chinese invade us and fucking take over our social media, because otherwise I can't post fish lip selfies with my busted fucking face. That's literally what happened.
And before that they had like Musically, they had Vine, like they were gonna make another one too. Like there was Musically, Vine, and then there was TikTok. So like they were gonna make another one no matter what. Like
right,
they weren't gonna just
pull up my Twitter. No, did you send the link? Oh, okay, yeah, scroll down. All right, scroll down. I'm going to tell you there were 2 girls. We're only going to watch part of it. Wait, stop there. The one with the nose ring.
Oh my God, who's that? Oh God, why do you do that?
Click it.
Gross, dude.
Pause.
It's terrible.
All right, video tab.
I don't know why you guys you guys are coping so hard.
All right.
Just take one look, you see the same thing I see.
Go ahead, play it.
This thing about the war going on against the chopped man epidemic girl is that she's actually quite beautiful. Hello? She's actually quite beautiful. Like, actually, dare I say, more than conventionally attractive. But you guys are brain rotted.
Okay, pause it. And then X out of that.
What?
That's great to see.
And then go to the other video. Go to the other video, the one with the yellow shirt.
I'm in.
You have it? Okay. Video tab.
Oh, Lord.
Play it.
The war on the side of the chop man epidemic girl. She's right. Y'all are ugly. You don't put effort into your appearances. You don't have hobbies, and you expect women to want you. And you're going to screenshot pictures of me and her while she's talking in an effort to make her feel ugly, when in reality, you would cry of happiness if me or her or any of the women in her comment section touched you with a 10-foot pole. Why? Because you're a virgin.
Pause it. Just pause it.
Wow. This isn't real.
This is a little creepy.
This is clickbait.
But she's not either.
I know what this phenomenon is called. What happens is, when one ugly chick sees another ugly chick, they instantly compare. And the one ugly chick's like, I'm hotter than her. So if I'm friends with her and I'm out hanging out with her, I'll look pretty in comparison to this ugly broad. And so I actually see this happen all the time. That's why you see cliques of really pretty women together, and then you see cliques of really fucking ugly women together, where they're all like fat and they're hideous and shit like that. So it's literally, look, I'm sorry, but all the time, this is what I see. Cliques of really good-looking chicks, and then cliques of really fucking ugly chicks. That's what I see all the time. So there must be something going on there.
It's rage bait. Is that what it's called?
We have.
What do you consider?
We have Pasty George. Brian, why are you showing us videos of crackheads? That is a good question. Good question. A really quick question, not related to this. Just, is anybody here Christian? Just curious.
Kind of.
You? What denomination?
I would say Orthodox.
You would say Orthodox. Okay. What about you?
Lutheran.
Sorry, what?
Lutheran.
Lutheran, and then.
I'm not really sure. I went to a Catholic boarding school.
Wait, can you scoot the mic to the edge of the table?
Sorry. I went to a Catholic boarding school, so but I'm not Catholic. I'm just.
You just touched it.
Sorry.
Scoot it to the edge of the table. There you go.
I'm just kind of my own Christian. I don't really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Non-denominational.
I just okay.
All right. We have Pasty George. To be honest, the woman on the video who said that men today are chopped, she looks like an indigenous crackhead. Okay. He had to add a qualifier there. She's not just a crackhead, or looks like one. She's an indigenous crackhead.
Wait, it's like she eats bad head soup.
Andrew, what would you consider, like, so you're saying like that was ugly, like what would you consider like pretty? Because you say you see pretty girls and then you see ugly girls. Like what would you say like your level of pretty would be?
Yeah, I don't think that attractiveness is nearly as subjective as women like to cope about, right?
Yeah.
The truth is that it seems like angular features with hourglass shapes, things like this, are universally accepted as being highly attractive, and here's why.
Don't do that.
The reason, stop doing that. Sorry. It's gross.
What?
But the point is the reason for this is just think of it from a reproductive standpoint. There has to be something that signals inside of men's brains and inside of women's brains to reproduce.
Yeah.
It has to be something, right? So there has to be some features which are universal that women have. They don't look sickly.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, great. We got that out of the way. But what else?
They like take care of themselves.
They have an hourglass type feature.
Yeah.
Wider hips, robust.
They like go to the gym and stuff.
Things like this. That's all signaling health and reproduction. That's what men are going to be attracted to.
Yeah.
Because sex ultimately is about reproduction, right?
Yeah.
So of course men are going to be attracted to youthful, women with angular features, hourglass shapes, things like this.
Yeah, like people that take care of themselves and things like that. Like they actually like care about their appearances
No, not
and
just
things like
taking
that.
care of yourself, but also there is a genetic element where there are some women who are born fucking ugly, and there's some men who are just born fucking ugly. And that's the case. That is the truth, objective truth, not sugar-coated, with no bullshit. There's some people in this world who are fucking ugly.
But at least women can use...
pretend that that's not the case. You can pretend it's not the case.
But at least women can use makeup and stuff like that, you know, and men can't. So it's kind of an unfair advantage.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, the amount of fakeness of women. I would actually counter and say I think that there's probably better looking men than there are women in the world. The truth is that if I go back and I just look at what women looked like in the 1800s when all of the filters weren't there, no breast implants, right? None of this shit, the rigors of hard living. Oh my God, they are. Ugh.
Yeah,
you wouldn't want to see it, right? Go look for yourself.
Yeah,
right?
I feel
men,
like
though, looked about the same as they do now.
I feel like back then too, like food and stuff was different. So it's like I feel like a lot of times a lot of things are more processed nowadays. So I feel like because back then like people would eat the same stuff and do the same things a lot of the times, but they've changed a lot of that stuff. So I feel like it's harder to keep that type of body, you know, like because everyone, if you look back in like the 50s, like everybody did have glass shapes, and I feel like that does have a lot to do with like the food and stuff, like nowadays, like the processed stuff.
Right, that's.
Not just
the miniskirt was
they all smoked.
in
They all
the
smoked
60s
in the
because
30s,
they
40s,
didn't
and 50s.
have
And smoking is an appetite suppressant. And you didn't see, like, women smoked. All women smoked. Once upon a time, almost every woman in the United States was smoking. And almost every man was smoking. It was prescribed by doctors to smoke for stress, and it was an appetite curbing. That's what it did.
So are you saying like smoking is what helped people keep the hourglass shape?
It's one reason, yeah.
Keep skinny,
Yeah, and that's why people like like vaping and stuff. Like when you stop vaping, you like turn to something else. Like and then people like start doing like certain people like if you stop vaping, like they'll want to eat more, then they'll gain weight and stuff like that. And I could see why because it's the nicotine that suppresses it. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't just that. You didn't have fast food. You didn't have any of that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, the reason why the miniskirt was so popular in the 60s was because we didn't have as much, but we were malnourished.
Yeah.
So women were skinnier. So that's why we could pull off miniskirts. And
All right, malnourished in the 60s?
Not
You're crazy.
Okay,
Yeah,
not
it's the opposite.
malnourished, but
It's the opposite, right?
Oh.
Okay.
Like we had much better quality food.
Well, maybe, but I mean,
50s and 60s.
obesity levels now are much higher
still
than in the
have it?
60s.
You mean for men?
Yeah.
Sorry?
You mean for men? The T levels are lower now than they were in the 60s.
Really?
Significantly.
Oh, I didn't know that. So
Yeah, the T levels in men have been dropping off since the early 1900s like a rock.
fascinating. Thanks for
Yeah,
educating me.
there's a correlation of, there's a massive combination of factors that goes into it, but it's a mixture of plastics, diet, bad genetics. I mean, there's a whole host of issues speculated as to why, but the testosterone levels has drastically decreased in men, almost globally, by the way.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Okay, we have some more super chats. We have name taken,
That's
chair
pretty.
6. If your husband was in a terrible accident and he needed 24/7 care, so you had to choose between either A, quitting OF so that you could provide him with the care he needed, or B, leaving him in his infirm state so you could do OnlyFans, which would you choose?
Well, how would I be able to financially support him? Would I have to go back to doing facials? I think I would say that his medical expenses were going to be pretty high, so I'd probably have to pick up the pace, probably hire help.
Work a job? Why are you financially supporting?
No, but it's the question. It's saying if he was in a terrible accident and he needed 24/7 care.
If neither one of us are working, we live in California. We will be homeless in like 30 days if you don't pay rent here. What they give you, like a 3-day evict. Like there would have to be some form of financial support, and to make sure that he had really great medical care, I would continue doing what I'm doing.
No,
and
but
hire
the
help.
question is, it's kind of an either or.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there would be other circumstances where perhaps there would be a financial impact on you, but it's quitting OF so that you could provide him with the care he needs. So that it seems like it's a time commitment. You're his caretaker. Or B, leaving him in his infirm state so that you could do OnlyFans.
Well, if we won the lotto, I would stay home and take care of him.
In the hypothetical he gave, there's nothing about winning the lottery.
Well, the thing is like when if she quit, then how would you be able to afford? You could afford to pay for care.
Yeah.
And then
So I'd
still
have to
work
do OF
instead of
and
you
hire
both
help.
failing and then like no one working, and then all of a sudden the whole economy in the household crashes.
Please may I ask you a question? How much time does it take to have an OnlyFans account?
I'm home way more now.
Could you not do like?
Can we get an answer to the question though? I don't.
Well,
it's a hypothetical question, not
hypothetical.
Like,
Okay.
Be able to afford it.
So I have no income coming in, and I'd have to do OF to support my household and to support him. So I would have to do OF.
But if you could afford
it, do both.
Now, if I could,
hold
afford
on.
it, and there was a
Wait. Here, I'll make it super simple. I'll
Yes,
make it
please.
super fucking simple. Oftentimes, the state will provide benefits to a caretaker. Let's assume for the sake of this hypothetical, the amount of the benefits you receive is enough to sustain your bare bones. You can keep staying where you live. You can, food, basic necessities that the state is providing you to be his caretaker through social services or whatever. Of course, I'm assuming you make way more money than this by doing OF and you enjoy doing OF.
Yeah.
Thus, the question is, would you leave your husband so that you can continue making more money?
Well, I wouldn't leave him. I mean, I would care for him. So if I have to pick
would you quit doing
one,
OF?
So if there was income coming in, I would say 24/7. I would care for him. I wouldn't leave him.
And you would stop doing OF?
Yeah. If that
Okay.
was the only choice that I had, yeah.
Name taken. I hope that's
As long as there's
sufficient
some
for
form
you.
of money coming in so we can take care of him. I don't want him homeless
Sure.
on the street in medical
Pelagic.
necessity.
For a hummingbird.
A bright red object outside of the open door. Oh.
Chloe?
I could just
Literally just stands there.
I'm not sure that's gonna work, but all right, we got Lucas. Hey, dude, Lucas, thank you so much for the super chat. Pelagic, thank you also. Questions for the harlot of Babylon. Be honest. What does your son think about you? Turning into Priscilla. Would you want your son to marry a bottom feeder like you? Oh shit, gross. We just threw up in our mouths, both of us.
Well, my sons have no judgment. They're very, very supportive, and they're like, Mom, do you. If it makes you happy, do it, right? So, and then what was the rest of it? So, I mean, my sons know everything I do. I just respect their boundaries, and they're unbelievably supportive. But I've always talked with my children. So we have a very open dialogue. And if my sons married a bottom feeder like me, well, I would support them 100% in the decisions that they would make. And I would know that that bottom feeder could support my son and his household significantly well. So I would definitely support that.
All right,
I'm
Lucas.
sorry, I can get you a napkin
Thank you for the
if you
super
need.
chat, Lucas. You're a legend, sir. By the way, Lucas, is that Matthew Fox from Lost?
Keith Olbermann, for those of you who don't know, he's a washed-up MSNBC has-been. He used to have a show called Countdown with Keith Olbermann. One of his big shticks was he would do the worst person in the world segment. And the worst person in the world segment would be he would take something generally out of context that a person said, talk a bunch of shit about him, call him the worst person in the world. And then he ended his show by crumpling up a piece of paper in front of him, throwing it at the camera, or just throwing papers. He thought that was funny. He was such a prima donna that they actually parted ways with him because of how abusive he was to his own staff. At least that's what the reports at the time said. There was all sorts of problems with Keith Olbermann. Now, maybe I'm not remembering that part correctly. It's been a long time because you just never hear anything from Keith Olbermann anymore, like ever. But anyway, that's who he is. And so in a desperate bid for attention, he puts out Burn in Hell, Charlie, alongside, and what does that say there?
Burn in Hell, Sinclair. Someone, Sinclair says, Oh, someone said, someone Sinclair he doesn't like, and it says Burn in Hell Sinclair alongside Charlie.
Charlie Kirk, sorry.
Sinclair's the company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you've got people are just sort of losing it at him, which is fair enough, I think.
Now, does anybody?
But I thought Matt Walsh's comment was good.
Can the chat remind me here? Because again, it's been a long time since I've even thought about any of these people. They were kind of big when I was in my 20s, and the legacy media was still really a thing. There was another network that had opened up, a radio network called Air America. Randy Rhoads was a person who was on Air America. No, I don't need glasses. It's just really small for me to read that. But anyway, it was called Air America. Did Keith Olbermann go to Air America with Randy Rhoads and the rest of those fucking weirdos? Does anybody remember? Maybe the chat can help me out with that. I just don't remember. But yeah, total fucking scumbag, universally hated, terrible debater, terrible takes. Everybody hated this guy. And in his bid for relevancy, he is, of course, going to take the most extreme position possible on this to try to draw attention to himself.
Matt Walsh says, Keith, you are already living in hell. Old, unemployed, irrelevant, fired from every job you ever had, unmarried and childless, spending your final years alone, shit posting into the void, begging to be noticed. When you die, you will leave behind no legacy and there will be nobody to mourn you or ever remember that you existed. Truly, I would rather be dead than live your life. I cannot imagine the misery that you feel every second of the day, and you deserve all of it. And Rach says, 911, I'd like to report a murder.
Yeah. So Walsh hitting him hard,
yeah,
right? Calling out the demon that he is, right? Imagine being so afflicted with demonisis that you go out of your way to say, well, Charlie Kirk needs to burn in hell along with, whoever Sinclair is. Is that Sinclair Media Group? Is that what they're referencing? Okay, gotcha. So this is Oberman lashing out, trying to get some attention for himself, and Matt Walsh just completely blasts him, and it was hilarious.
Yeah. All right. The next big one that has happened over the past 24 hours is Jimmy Fallon. He may as well be Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Kimmel, same guy anyway, getting the ass from ABC. Here's what he said.
Got the ass, Jay.
The weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
So he starts the probably the second part of what he was doing there with the criticism of Trump. I think he probably would have gotten a pass on that. I think the idea that Trump wasn't grieving hard enough or this or that's a very common kind of attack that you would see from both sides. It's low tier, but I think he would have probably gotten a pass with that. It's that first part that got him. The first part, he's making the claim MAGA's trying to do everything possible to say that this kid was anything other than them. Yep. Well, the thing is that for people who hate misinformation, these people sure engage in an awful lot of it. It was not only very obvious that he was a leftist psychopath, but all the facts bore out that he was a leftist psychopath. They were trying to pin this on the right wing right from the beginning to kind of claim Charlie Kirk's radicalization of his own base. Ironically enough, it was his base who killed him. And that was what the narrative was that they were striving for. That is why there was suddenly a lot of pressure. And by the way, this is not the first time that Kimmel has been under fire on this network for comments that he's made. But it is the first time that there has been public outrage from the right actually saying something about it and perhaps pushing this network to do something about it. What's really interesting is I see the left wingers right now talking about cancel culture and saying, well, you guys aren't going to like this when the pendulum swings back in power the other direction. But what's really funny there, and what I don't really understand that criticism, the left never stopped canceling the right. They've never stopped doing it. Why would we ever assume that because the right doesn't engage in saying, okay, if you're going to make these irresponsible claims, you also are at the mercy of getting fired by your employer? Why would that have stopped the left if we didn't do that? What would the left have just been like, you know what? They're all right. We're going to stop getting them fired from everything, deplatformed, debanked, dehumaned from there. And the right's not even doing that. The left was going back 10, 20 years to find things to cancel people with, still do it to this day, do everything they can to besmirch people's character. They can't help themselves. And they apply political pressure on banking institutions, apply political pressure on financial institutions to completely deperson an individual, completely deperson them. So ultimately, the thing here that's funny is like the right's not even engaging in cancel culture. All they're doing is saying, okay, do you really want this person to represent your company? The company says, nope, we don't. That's really not cancel culture. That's not what cancel culture ever was. But it's not like, even if it was, even if we granted it, why wouldn't we fight back with it? The left isn't going to stop just because we don't do shit. So it's really a useless criticism.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good point. I mean, they just never stopped doing it. Like they would do it at any chance that they get, really. So, why do we have to take the high ground? Why do we have to not celebrate about this? And especially when it's something like this, where in the wake of a murder, people are celebrating this murder, and people are, doing all sorts of horrendous and heinous things. Like when that guy came out and said that he was a fascist on Jubilee, right? When he said to Mehdi Hassan, he sort of just granted it. Yeah, I'm a fascist, whatever. That guy got fired from his job, and all he said was, it was like almost like maybe he is, but like it was like a tongue in cheek. It seemed to me like it was a tongue in cheek sort of like, yeah.
But even if it wasn't, the message is very clear, right? The message is clear. There are social taboos that we as leftists refuse to put up with inside of society. And if you cross those social taboos, it's completely justified for us to remove you from any stage of being able to make money, support yourself, or anything else. You need to get punished. If that's the case, then you leave yourself at the mercy of the same thing. Okay, well, we as the right collectively say this is a social taboo. If you move outside the bounds of that social taboo, the same exact thing happens to you. The ironic thing, though, is that the right stops this tomorrow. If the left knocked it off, if the left had collective leadership that was like, look, enough of this is enough of this, right? You need to stop canceling people over their political viewpoints. We're not putting up with it anymore. The right would compromise immediately and be like, yeah, okay, we're totally right there with you. But they're not going to do that. Ever. And just because the right doesn't engage in it doesn't mean that the left won't keep engaging in it. So the only argument they have is, well, you're hypocrites because you don't let us do this bad thing to you anymore. That's it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I remember we were talking about this not so long ago when we were saying, like, when the left have this sort of institutional power, they will rub Christians' faces in the dirt. They will go on live TV, they will mock Jesus Christ, they will do anything that they can, really, to try and rub our faces in it and to try and like humiliate us. So when we have the chance, a little bit of smugness, a little bit of gloating actually doesn't feel so bad. It doesn't feel so bad.
Look, I'm not a big proponent. I don't like the fact, like, if I had the perfect world for Andrew Wilson, right? Jimmy Kimmel can say what the fuck he wants. Okay. And he no matter how horrific or distasteful his fucking jokes are, I don't give a shit. I have the power to turn the channel and I don't care. Right. And in the perfect world too, guys on Main Street could talk about racial issues, and they could talk about trans issues. They could talk about their anti-LGBTQ views and immigration, and they wouldn't get canceled either. Both sides could say what they wanted, and they wouldn't have to worry about the repercussions of their income and this and that. It would be a level playing field in the arena of ideas. But that's not the world that we live in. And we have to get kind of the this idea out of our heads that it is. It's not. That's a utopian ideal. The world that we live in, the left has been depersoning, debanking, and getting conservatives canceled from every form of media they possibly can in order to hurt them where it generally hurts the worst, which is in their wallet, killing any of their fundraising efforts for their ideas, killing any of their ability to speak their ideas to a mainstream audience, killing their ability to do that. Even when people want them to be doing that, they still go out of their way to do it. So in many cases, this is fighting fire with fire. And yes, the left doesn't like it, but it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse on both sides. But just remember that ultimately it was out of our hands. If we did nothing, they would keep going. And if we do something, they'll keep going. So which one seems more plausible for political warfare?
All right. And speaking of the left and this particular topic, David Pacman comes out and says one of the hallmarks of authoritarianism is to terrify people into self-censorship. ABC ending Kimmel's show is the perfect example of this. And then you said, LMFAO, if somebody made a joke about a person, a woman, the mentally handicapped, immigrants, Jewish people, Muslims, etc., this retard would be the first to scream, free speech has consequences. If you get to pick your social taboos, then so does the right.
Right. So the basic idea here is this. It used to be in media that people groups were made fun of all the time, especially in a comedic fashion. And people had a pretty good sense of humor about it. In fact, I think I would venture to say that it built camaraderie in many ways. So
Kings
you'll
of
hear
Comedy,
this.
Chris Rock,
Well,
Dave
and you'll also hear
Chappelle,
this from guys who are in the
South Park.
military, guys who have been in the military for a long time. They tend to tell stories about how the worst, most cutting ethnic blows that they could give to somebody was kind of like a rite of passage, a basic honor system. You know what I mean? Who could talk the most amount of shit was kind of heralded as being the king of the day. And the thing is like it does build camaraderie, and it also helps you to not have such a thin skin when it comes to criticism. So when I was growing up, calling people dumb Polacks, that was totally fine, right? Polish people, and they thought it was funny. Calling Irish people drunks and Scottish people weird, like the list goes on and on and on. And it was culturally acceptable, and people crack Jewish jokes all the time. You'd be in school, for instance, and you'd be like, "Hey, man, you got that $1 I gave you last week?" And they'd be like, "No," and you'd be like, "Oh, stop being such a Jew." That was
dude,
fucking
like
common. That was
every
common.
second word was that in school for me. It was like, we didn't really know anything about Jews besides the fact that they're stingy.
Yeah,
of
that
these
was
jokes.
it. And it was common. People would say it all the time, right? And by the way, what would happen with the Jewish kids would always make fun of you back. They'd be like, well, maybe if you were better with your money, like our people are, you wouldn't be fucking begging for 50 cents in the lunch line, poor, right? That shit was fun, and it was funny, and it was a good way for people to have camaraderie. We didn't think of it as anti-Semitic, and neither did they. And they didn't think of it when they were hitting you back as you being the fucking goyim either. And this destroyed all of that. The very idea of what they did with cancel culture destroyed one of the best things that created camaraderie between people, which is that we could barb each other. And that's
such a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you think about it, like the whole multicultural experiment, now that you say that, like the only way that it works is if we can fucking rip each other.
Yeah.
If we can't rip each other, dude, multiculturalism can never work. And maybe there is a world in which we can all sort of live together and just fucking rip each other all the time, and it'll work.
I mean, that's how I bond with my friends.
Yeah, and this was common. And by the way, if you snitched about it, you were a bitch. You were, you were a dumb bag. You were a fucking loser. You know what I mean? You fucking little bitch. You're not allowed to snitch because somebody called you a bad name. You know what I mean? We called all the fat kids fat, and they would laugh. You know what I mean? And they would talk shit back. It was not just a rite of passage, but it was an idea. The social ribbing created a sense of camaraderie, and it helped with social skills, unique social skills, which is that life is hard. You're under pressure a lot. You know what I mean? And there's going to be people who say really bad things about you, true and untrue. And the reason so many people have so many freak out sessions these days about that is because they never went through any of that. So as an adult, they're coming into contact with people who say mean things to them, and they can't take it. They crumble. You know what I mean? And suddenly it's on par with you're Adolf Hitler himself. You just you just told that guy to stop being so Jewish with his money. You're Adolf Hitler. And it's like, no, man, that's not what's going on here. I think you're blowing it a little bit way out of proportion here. Okay. I think that was very common and nobody was getting upset about it at all. They'd get upset maybe in the moment a little bit, but it was not a huge deal. And now it has become that. And now people are getting debanked, depersoned, and that's been going on for many years where right-wingers can't even get loans. They can't get banks to deal with them. They can't get financing for various things because they're on special lists that are invisible to the rest of the public through finance companies where they're persona non grata. And so if that's the case, the right's just saying, okay, well, let's see how you like it back. Well, they don't seem to like it very much. And it's like, so how do you get this to stop other than fighting fire with fire? I have no idea.
Dude, imagine if every time we made fun of Mr. E because he's a Jew and he's like one of those rare species that's a Jew and he got all pissed off about it. Imagine if
I'm gonna call your
Mr. E
boss
got all
and get you
pissed off.
fired, Jake.
Shut up, Jew, Mr. E.
But yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. And the thing is funny is like, there's plenty of Jewish people who watch the Crucible. There's plenty of minorities who watch the Crucible. There's plenty of white people who watch the Crucible, right? And I think that one of the reasons is because they still like that atmosphere. Not all, most, it's not even not all. Most people understand that's how it is, and they don't get upset about it, dude.
One of those chatters said, "Is Mr. E a blue?"
A blue?
Jew.
Oh my god, dude.
Yo, I don't know what the fuck you be talking about, oy vey.
Bro.
All right, we're having a serious conversation. All right. What's this
mystery?
Shit, brother Andrew with his cigarettes.
Imagine Mr. E just turned his camera on. He was really, dude. Nah. Impossible.
Like this guy is.
All right. What is this? Chris Hayes.
You don't know who Chris Hayes is?
Looks like your pretentious fucking uncle.
No. You have to understand that that's the twin sister of Rachel Maddow.
Yo, I was going to make the same joke. Because he's the female version of Rachel Maddow.
Yeah, that is the twin sister of Rachel Maddow. You have to understand, I think he also, I don't remember if he was CNN or MSNBC, which one he was with as a commentator, but he was either with the Communist News Network or Crescent News Network, CNN, or I don't remember which, but he was a very popular political commentator for a while with the legacy media, always bashing, again, like most of those political pundits did, on the right, incessantly about the right, and that's it. Very rarely brought on, by the way, right-wing guests to even defend themselves. Very rarely do this. They just talk shit to pictures of them. That's what they did for years.
So this is his reaction on the left to Jimmy Kimmel and then juxtaposed with his Tucker reaction.
ABC made the announcement Kimmel would indeed be taken off the air indefinitely. And this is just the latest chapter in Donald Trump's ongoing campaign to crack down on free speech, dominate the media, and essentially render the First Amendment meaningless. So it was for the journeyman cable news host Tucker Carlson, just fired from his third network. He believed he could say anything, no matter how vile, no matter how disgusting, no matter how offensive, no matter how dehumanizing or belittling. And if you act like a sociopath over and over and over and over, you will become unpopular on the national stage. That's just like a basic principle. Over time, probably not going to work out well for you in the long run. Eventually, people will be rightly offended, disgusted by it. ABC made the...
Now,
glowing. He's glowing about Tucker.
Yeah, and let's also point out the fact that besides the immediate knee-jerk reaction of hypocrisy, which is, of course, what is trying to be pointed out here, is the circumstances here with Carlson. He's simply pointing out that if you are a bad guy, public sentiment's going to turn against you, and this is what you should expect. And yet, when it comes to Kimmel, public sentiment turns against him, but that's not what he should expect. Isn't it ironic more than anything? But let's also point this out, that the guy he's trying to lambaste there, Tucker Carlson, has gone on to be a massive figurehead of right-wing politics and a household name worldwide, and one of the richest, most successful political pundits who's ever lived. Chris Hayes is where? He's nowhere.
Yeah.
He's nowhere.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, by the way, I just want to point out that I've always suspected that 90% of the cancel culture, which is driven by left-wing punditry and talking heads, is due to sheer jealousy, because they're unentertaining and highly educated. And they believe that due to their education, they should be taken seriously, and other people should not be, who are much more entertaining than they are with the facts that they present. And I've always thought that jealousy had a major component role in this.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Have you seen what fucking Don Lemon has been up to? Like, it's actually astounding when you look at it, because he was the big guy at CNN. He goes on to do his YouTube channel. Elon Musk offers him a spot on X, and I call him Diva Don. Diva Don says to him, you need to fly me out on private. You need to pay me X amount of money. You need to have me and my gay boyfriend get us massages, put us up in 5-star hotels, making all these demands of Elon. And Elon says, actually, you know what? Don't worry about it. I don't want to work with you. You seem like a bit of a diva. Pies him off. And then Don Lemon's like, okay, I'll go do my own thing. Dude, if you look at his numbers on YouTube, like, he never cracks 100,000 on any videos ever.
Mm-hmm.
He's like irrelevant. He's begging people for interviews, doing man on the street interviews, and begging basketballers behind the red line and stuff. It's crazy.
Well, you have to understand that these networks artificially prop these people up. They came with very, very high senses of pedigree. Most of them had family in media. Rachel Maddow, for instance, I believe was a Rhodes Scholar, and she came highly recommended as an academic. What these media companies wanted to do, especially the left-leaning media companies, they thought they would be able to overwhelm the American public with pedigree. They thought if we have a very, very high, sophisticated class of political pundits who are highly educated by whatever standard they thought that was, usually Ivy League schools or various things like this, that they will overwhelm the American public with their kind of, pedigree, and that their education would be able to relay these complex messages in such a sophisticated way that Americans would just fall in love. And the opposite happened. Actually, there was a backlash. What happened is they were unable to frame their message in any way that the common man could relate to them at all. And not only that, they thought that the American people were really stupid, and that if they used a bunch of academic doublespeak, that the electrician on the street wouldn't be able to listen to it and decipher the bullshit, and they did very easily. The reason that Fox News, on the other hand, was so successful is because they said, well, let's put guys in who were construction workers like Sean Hannity, and let's put people in.
Was he construction?
Yeah, he was a construction worker. He started as a construction worker with a $500 car. They were trying to put more people in who could connect easier with the audience. And then they would also put in their blonde bombshell bimbos with big boobs, right? So the idea here was you get a big show, right? Something nice to look at. And then you'll have people who can relay the messaging in a way that the kind of common man will relate to and connect with. And that formula was a big winner. Well, think about this. Imagine having billionaire backers with these high academic pedigrees, funneling, hundreds of millions of dollars to your network to get these people these multi-million-dollar contracts, and you get your ass kicked by political pundits, many of them who only have a high school education, and a couple of blonde chicks with big boobs, because that is 10 times more relatable to the American public than these fucking glasses-wearing dorks who have never been able to relay a competent message in their life in a way that's relatable to anybody ever.
Yeah.
And that was the difference. And so the seething jealousy is 95% of this has always been about seething jealousy.
Yeah, dude. These people who are like the Ivy League elites, they think that they should run the world. They think that they should be in charge. They think that they should be the authority on everything. And it's like, yeah, like Chris Hayes. How are you going to look like? He looks like a fag and a lesbian at the same time.
When the Bloodsport debate era really started to kick off around 2018, And just before that, when it was verging in 2017, leading into 2020, a lot of these academics got put to the question by commoners. They were willing to go and start actually doing IRL engagements and engaging in debates with people who were supposedly far less educated than them, and they got trounced. I mean, brutally trounced at every turn, and kind of the mask fell off, right? That
That's
if
beautiful.
you're outside of the echo chamber, you can't even contain the worldview. It just falls apart the second it's under scrutiny. So these people lost their edge in almost every single aspect of what it was that they were trying to accomplish. And that's why the legacy media has died. I mean, it's dead. It's not that it's still alive and kicking a little bit. You know what I mean? It's going to make a comeback. It is fucking dead.
You know, last show, this is quite the difference from our last show, because last show we had no OnlyFans girls, and then this show we have 1, 2, 3, 4 on the panel. So like half the panel does OAV. So a switcheroo.
Who's the fourth one?
What's that?
Who's the fourth one?
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Unless Crystal or Pervin.
No, I don't do OnlyFans.
OF.
I have morals.
Gonna fucking bad
I
bird,
feel like it
man.
really
It's
just
gonna take a
depends
shit.
on what your morals
Depend
are.
on anything. I'm
Well,
not
everyone
gonna
has
sell
different morals, so-
I don't know if you're aware of that.
I can hear you.
I
That's
just
true.
think it's
Some
very
of us have
wrong.
direct morals, and some of us don't.
Yeah, well, it just depends. Like some people just have different morals, and that's just how it
if
is.
you think it's morally okay to pop your pussy
I do.
online,
But that's your
Do you?
opinion and what you believe in.
And I don't live my
and
life off
we
of other
respect
people's
that from
opinions.
you.
So,
But
What are-
that's
what are
not
your
always-
guys'
person, and I treat people with respect. And if I choose to do what I want to do with my body, then that's
Go for
myself. But I'm not a bitch or anything like that. So that's at least my
no one
morals.
said
So
that you
basically
were a
how you
bitch.
treat
Like,
people.
you're
No one
being
said
kind
that
of-
you were a bitch.
Yeah, you are being
your
rude. I'm saying you are being a
energy
bitch.
is radiating.
But it's okay, because not all of us can do it, because not all of us look like that. So
Okay, your pussy.
rude.
What does the look
I
of
have a lot to
anyone
say
have
about this,
anything
but I'm
to do
gonna-
with selling your pussy?
it's okay. That's
have
definitely
you seen
it.
the way you look? I don't
For
get-
clarification purposes,
What is
like I
that
just
supposed to mean?
Doesn't every single woman walking the planet, well, depending on what we define as a woman, I don't want to get in trouble, have a vagina?
Yes.
Does that make
Wow,
us?
great point. Astute point, Cambridge or Nottingham or whatever.
Yeah,
Love
because,
that. Well done.
You know, one thing I'll say is I admire the bravery. Like,
Thank you.
because I personally could never do that. I would be so, I'd feel insecure.
Wait, bravery to do what?
Well, it's in a sense, in a way, you've got to be pretty fucking ballsy
Extremely.
and sorry to swear again, Brian, and brave, like to be able to. I personally feel as a woman, it's not natural to.
I feel like everybody's.
Expose myself on camera to potentially millions of men.
For
That,
clarification
to me, doesn't feel
purposes-
very natural. So that's what I mean. It takes, I guess, some bravery to or something.
Yeah, but hang on. By that metric, wouldn't it be brave to be a serial killer?
But we're not doing that, so that doesn't even make sense.
Well,
It's a completely
hang on.
different topic.
There's not. There's
Question. Let me ask her the question.
There's not that much
Wouldn't it be the
difference.
case? Hang on. Wouldn't it be the case by that metric that it would be brave to be a serial killer?
Yeah, actually, Andrew, you're completely right, and I think I didn't word it correctly. What I mean is, it takes some kind of there's something that. I mean, I basically what I'm trying to say.
Shamelessness?
Usually I articulate myself quite eloquently. I couldn't do it. That's what I'm trying to say.
And if
It's
you can't
something
do
that-
it, then that's exactly something that I
But-
feel like other people shouldn't judge what other people do with their lives, because it's their lives.
Don't get me wrong. I could do it, but I wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't feel natural to me.
And that's fine.
But I also just don't want to be slammed for being mean to
Yeah.
girls who do OnlyFans, because at the end of the day, there's the millions and millions of men who are paying for this.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Not
so-
everybody knows what people go through in their lives and the reasons why things happen. They just,
Well, I just think that sex has been sold since the beginning of time.
True, it's
since
the
men
oldest
have
profession.
came onto
and
this
everybody's going to
planet.
have sex anyway, so it's like if someone chooses to do it a certain way that they feel like they want to do it, I
And
don't feel like
we
it
don't
does
only just sell
respect
sex,
people's
but do you
morals.
sell
But do you understand
Like
the
morals is a crazy thing to say.
morals? But do you understand the damage that you're doing to society? Because do you understand that now men are no longer hunters?
Well, they were
are not-
already going to do that anyways because,
Sorry,
like
you
I said, it's
interrupted
already
me.
been there.
Men no longer are hunters, and they no longer like go and, you know, whatever, let's say go up and ask a girl for a drink in a bar, because they can just sit behind a screen and they can do whatever and look at girls like you, and it's kind of, you know, it's just ruining humanity, in my opinion.
People have always watched porn, and it's been around since forever. Even the pirate movies, like, it's always been a thing. So, for example, OnlyFans just made it a platform so that girls cannot be scammed by people that are directing and doing things like porn and stuff like that. It was a platform for women to take their own and to be able to be like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get what I want out of it and not be controlled and abused.
Sorry. And no disrespect, I didn't know that corn, or whatever we're going to say it, I didn't know that had been around for, what did you say, thousands of years?
Yes, it's been around for...
With their cameras that long ago?
Whenever there was cameras, people were making movies like that since the beginning.
So do you not think that now it's becoming exponentially worse? So, you know...
I feel like at the end of the day, the whole point of, like, everyone in life, that's what you do, is you mate. So if people, like, it's already a thing that happens. So for me to just want to be able to do or make something from that when it's already happened anyways, I'm already being sexualized wherever I go, I'm taking my stand for it. Like, you're going to sexualize me anyways? Okay, so that I'm going to get my money off of it, because no matter what, you're going to do that to me, no matter what.
I understand you and I hear you, but every single woman around this table gets sexualized when they walk down the street by men, and I don't think every single woman around this table has decided to spread her legs on camera.
Can I ask you a question, and don't take this offensively?
I'm not.
When you go out and DJ, right, and you're out there and you're spinning on the table, what type of outfits do you wear? Can I ask that?
I wear like a t-shirt, some denim shorts, a bandana, and headphones.
Is it kind of sexy and appealing? And do you think, do you have viewers?
I try to make my image look like quite like more interesting, but I don't dress like extremely provocatively.
But sexy, right? And that will bring people, if I'm doing
There's a difference between dressing sexy because you have a talent and you are a DJ, and just only
so what we're saying is we're capitalizing. We are capitalizing on being sexualized. And OnlyFans, like she was saying, OnlyFans is around. It's going to be around, right? It's not going anywhere. And I'm not going to miss that bread.
Well, we don't know that for a fact. But can I ask you a question?
Well, we'll see about that. We'll see about
Well, either way, the corn industry in general, it's been around for as long as it's been around. So it's not just going to go away.
I'm going to keep interrupting me. Can I ask you a question?
Well, you haven't given anyone else the time to talk. I'm not interrupting you. I was in the middle of saying something too. Your statements are very long, so people don't get a chance to actually say something.
I did want to say something. I'm sorry. I wanted to ask you, just for clarification purposes, where do your morals come from? Are you Christian? Are you...
Morals in the sense of everyone talks about, empowerment of women, and like, is that the real definition of it? That's the notion of it. I don't think it's morally okay.
No, I'm not asking like your morals. I'm asking where they come from.
Those are my opinions. No, it doesn't have to be a specific religion. It's my personal preferences. Those are my opinions.
No, that's fine. Do you know where they were sourced from?
Based off of comments that came from here, it's bitchy. If you guys don't care about other people's opinions, isn't it kind of hypocritical and rude for you to say my opinions are bitchy?
It was the way you said it. You're like, I have morals.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
No one's sitting here coming at you for what you're doing.
Those are your opinions.
Okay, cool, and that's your opinion, and that's your own opinion.
Are my opinions. You don't have any right to sit there and classify them as
she's well-educated person. So my question...
I'm not sitting here and bashing you. I'm just saying morally, that's not what I think is okay.
Okay, well, you didn't state it like that. You said I have morals. You didn't say my morals specifically.
I have morals to which I would not do that. I wasn't talking about you. I wasn't talking about her. I wasn't talking about your mother or her. Those are my morals, my opinions. I did not bash any one of you.
Okay.
But instead, you sat there and said, "Oh, what a bitchy remark to make." Like, that's very, very rude.
I'm not upset at all by what you said. Like, I'm genuinely not upset. I'm just trying to get to the core of it. Like, everybody has somewhere where their morals were sourced from, right? Whether it be a religion, whether it be from their parents, and their parents had a specific reason for it. Do you, like, have a source in your head, or you're just like, this is stuff I've picked up over life?
It's just, I think, like, sex intimacy is, you know, a very vulnerable aspect to any type of individual, whether like whatever background you come from, whatever religion you come from. So those are my morals based off of how I perceive it. No judge, no shame to others. Those are just my opinions. Okay. Since this is a podcast about talking and discussing differences, I just feel like it was the difference. I just didn't know I would have gotten a remark as, oh, that's a very
well, it was the way that you said it. You said, I have morals, not these are my morals. It was the statement, though. It wasn't. Okay, but do you not hear me talking?
Yeah, you can speak.
What I'm saying is you said, I have morals. You weren't like, these are my morals, so that's why I don't. You said, I have morals, stating that anyone else's morals aren't okay. That's what I got from it.
I never said other people's
statement, the way you stated it, there's different states of things. So if you state it differently, then it will mean something else. But the way that you stated it sounded like you were saying it specifically like
why are you getting so triggered by what she said? It's
I'm
her
not getting
opinion.
triggered.
If you are going to perceive it that way, that's a personal problem.
One at a time. Let's start with chair 7. And then you guys, you can kind of hash this out.
That's based off of your perception. If you are going to understand my statement that way, that's a personal problem. I did not say other people. I did not say this person, that person. I said my morals, X, Y, and Z. So I don't understand why you're perceiving this assumption that I said this, and this to the point where you get offended and say that my opinion is bitchy. That's kind of very rude.
You didn't say my morals. You said I have morals. There was two different statements. I'm literally talking and you're talking over me. So I give you the time to speak and you can't give me the time to speak?
Yeah, let her respond. That's fair.
You're sitting here saying, you're like, I don't do OnlyFans because I have morals. You're stating that everyone else's morals don't matter. You're not saying that's my morals, so I don't do it. I wouldn't have said anything if you were like, well, those are my morals. I would have been like, okay, that's understandable, but you're like, I have morals. So that's an attack.
It's not an attack to anyone. Those are my morals.
I'm just saying it's the way that you stated it. So maybe just like if you stated it differently, it would have came across differently.
In any way, I have morals that are
I'm done talking about this.
Those are my morals, and I
because literally every time I'm talking, you interrupt me, and then you get mad about me interrupting you.
Hang on. To be fair, she did let you finish that last point.
I did.
That is the case.
Those are my morals.
I see you got your hand up. You guys don't have to raise your hand. It's only if the table gets so insane with crosstalk, that's kind of when I'll break it up. But I mean, for the most part, that hasn't been happening. It just kind of happened a little bit there, right? You guys are more than welcome to engage with each other. It's just that occasionally you can imagine what it's like for the listener if you got 6 people talking at once, they can't hear anything, right?
I just don't want to talk over people, but earlier we were talking about how the mother-daughter dynamic of the difficulty of OF and influencing, and you wouldn't want your parent or your daughter going through that. And I had mentioned hate and judgment, and you said that you had learned how to deal with the hate and judgment. She could call me a million different words. She could tell me I'm nasty. She could tell me I'm a horrible person. It doesn't affect me one bit. I get those DMs every single day. You seem to be very offended by it.
No, this is just my reaction to it. This is my response to this statement.
Do you get hate comments or offensive comments on the internet?
Yeah, but it's not directly on the internet. It's different. People are behind a screen. That's completely different.
Do you respond to them and interact?
No,
with
I
them?
don't.
Okay, but you keep doing what you do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, people are gonna have opinions. It's fine.
Yeah, it was just the way it was stated. It felt like an attack, so that's how I feel. But that was it, because it was the way that things were stated, and it could have been stated differently. But I'm not offended or anything. It was just my reaction, because we're on a podcast talking, so I'm supposed to have something to say back to that. I'm not supposed to just keep my mouth quiet.
I think it was the way that she worded it. She should have said personal morals.
Exactly. Instead of I have morals, saying
I can empathize with that. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
You literally said, "Oh, at least I can sell it," or some notion of along those lines. You were sitting there. Yeah, that was criticizing me. Did I sit there and get offended by it? I
We're not
don't
supposed to be
believe-
judging.
Yeah, you're
The way
judging
that she
whether you're
stated
being a
it,
I think both
hypocrite,
of you,
judging.
because then you were talking, I don't know what that comment was about their vagina or something
how
like
she
that.
can sell it. At least I can sell it.
No,
Okay,
it was
big-
you being
No, she said at least I
disrespectful.
can sell it. She said at least we can sell it, like perceiving it, saying like, oh, I don't have the capability to sell my pussy or something. I could if I wanted to. I just choose not to.
Okay.
Hence the fact that those are my opinions. I did not bash her. I did not bash her. I didn't even bash you two. So it was just my opinions. Morally, I don't find that to be okay. I would not do it. I would not want my daughter to do it, and so on and so forth. I do not bash. I do not judge others who do so. You do you. To each their own.
See, the way you stated it there, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
See, that
I'm
is
glad you
understandable.
understood.
Yeah, it was the tone.
Yes, and the way that you said it.
It was the wrong tone.
Yes.
Gotta use that right tone, you know?
And wording.
If you don't have the right tone, the tone police are going to come in there, and that's going to be the end of it.
Yeah,
Use that
because
right
people
tone.
are too sensitive. Like, what am I going to do? Like, adjust my tone and the way that I'm stating it? Like, I said something about myself morally. Sorry that you perceived it wrong.
Well, for someone so well educated, I would have thought that you'd be able to articulate yourself a little bit more eloquently to the point where you don't hurt people's feelings.
I didn't hurt her feelings. She perceived it to a way that hurt her feelings.
So now
I
you're
didn't.
blaming her for perceiving it incorrectly when
I
you
didn't
didn't
personally attack her.
You
or
didn't
anyone.
articulate yourself in a
I
kind way.
did not personally attack her or anyone on here.
Okay.
I think it's also just her tone, the way she talks. Like, you have quite a, I guess, monotone way of speaking.
Yeah.
And as do I. Sometimes people take what I say offensively, even if it was meant to be taken
You're
that
softly
way.
spoken and sweet, darling. I think it's the same.
I want to take you offensively.
Well, no, I'm just using it as an example. Like,
Yeah, but
sometimes-
chair 3, like, you're kind of cheating because you have the British accent, right? So,
What did you say?
Isn't that cheating? Yeah, isn't that cheating? Like with the tone
Oh,
thing?
100%.
Yeah, it's 100% cheating. So I don't even feel
Rule
like you can win
Britannia.
this. It's totally cheating.
Tone
Yeah,
is
you can't-
going
you
to.
can't just come in with the British accent and be like, well, I have the right tone. I have the
No,
proper
but
tone.
I've also
It's
got a
like,
degree
well, of
in-
course you do. You have a British accent.
I've got a degree in Latin and I love words. So it's not just because of my accent.
See, and I can say that I apologize for if I felt like if I had said something like that, but I just felt like the way that you were coming at me felt like an attack because of the, not me specifically, but in general for the girls, because I back up my girls that are doing that because it is a tough thing. And for someone to just be like, I don't do it because I have morals, it's like, that's not really fair. So I can apologize for my actions, but I just didn't like the way that you said it was not really respectful towards the women that do that, because that is my life.
Well, it's not just women, it's couples. I know a lot of couples who are husband and wife that does this industry together. There are men that do this industry together, that do this industry just themselves, you know? So when you're like, I don't have morals, I mean, that's to every single person that is, you know, capitalizing on this industry.
Yes.
Yeah, to each their own. Did I sit there and bash any of you guys? Did I sit there and bash
It
the
felt like a
industry? I
bash.
did not. I did not.
Yeah,
I, did not
I
bash
think
it.
we declared it was just more about the tone.
Yeah,
but
it was
I
the
have to
tone.
say this, like after this conversation and after like talking and communicating, like now I can.
We understand.
Yeah, now I
It's-
understand. I
it's
think
now
that
understand.
first like 5
she's
minutes was a
she's
little.
honestly, she's way nicer than me. I would have just straight up been like, "You're all a bunch of fucking immoral degenerate scum." But that's just me though. That's what I would
Andrew, don't call me a moral degenerate.
Hey,
Cheeky monkey.
you have
Who
a
do you think
whole.
you are?
He's not in the building right now, so.
No,
Moral
if I was in the
degenerate.
building, I would still say
Me?
you're a degenerate moral scum. I promise. I've done it to many people who are in the building, but I mean that's just you know, it's just me. You know, I'm doing me, right? I'm doing me, and
You
you're
do
doing
you, boo.
and other people as well. You know, like you know, you do you, and I'll do me. That's how it's supposed to work, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Brian's back, thank God.
Everybody has different lives, and everyone, like, no one knows exactly
Well,
what people have been through.
Yeah, where you been?
And why things
What
have
did
came
you
into their life like that. Because some people had different lives where, like, that's something that they have to do in a point. So it's like, I feel like just people should understand everybody's feelings and things about the situation.
Can I ask you, when you got into this industry, was there any, like, is there or was there any part of you that feels anything bad about it? Because, as I said, like, I don't feel shame about it. You could say anything you want to me. But I definitely understand that there's parts about it that are bad. There's parts about it that influence society that are bad. There's parts of it that are bad for me. I understand that, and I fully take responsibility over that.
But I feel like
and so is
I
the
feel like there's
gasoline
parts
industry, but we need gas to make the world go round.
I feel like there's parts bad in anything that you do. Like anything that you do, there's something bad that could be bad in something that you do. You know what I mean? Like there's like not everything's always perfect. I'm not saying that that's not correct, because that is true. You know, it's like I'm not like, but I feel like a lot of things, like anything that you do, sometimes there could just be a bad point of something. Like, you know, like even like for example, doctors, like not all doctors are actually trying to help. It's a lot of times about the money. It's a lot of times about the money.
What
you know,
about a
I've gone to a
librarian?
doctor's where they've literally scammed me when they could have helped me. You know what I mean? Like that's not always good feeling. That's not always something that should be okay.
For me, it was really hard.
Beautiful symphony.
right now. But no, I totally get what you're saying.
I do hear you, though, yeah.
I do get what you're saying. Yeah, because
I
it's
think
not,
we have to be self-aware. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
I don't think I'm like doing charity work over here. You know what I mean? Not at all.
And that's why I made the comment about like the gas industry, is because like we need it. It's essential, right?
Wait, hold on. Wait. So are you
I don't think
are
the
you
corn
drawing-
industry is essential.
Are you drawing a comparison that the adult content industry is essential in the same way that oil refinery is essential?
No. So okay. So it's not like apples and apples here. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
I get
saying?
that they're different, but okay, how about this? Simple question.
But
is the adult
sex work
content,
has been around longer than the
sure.
gasoline industry.
Is the adult content industry essential?
Is it essential?
Is it? Are
It's
you an
not
essential
essential
worker?
like something like OnlyFans. It is not essential, right?
Let's not go by COVID standards, because COVID standards were crazy.
But is the sex industry always been something that's always been? Even if it was secret down, you know, alleys and all these things, yes, it's always been.
Yeah, but so has killing for hire.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
So just making the appeal to history and saying, because this thing has always been part of human behavior for some people, that means it can't be regulated. You'd have to make follow that logic the same way.
And I
Well,
do
so
think
what?
that
So
the
killing for
industry
hire
needs
has
to be
always been part
regulated.
of the human experience too, and you wouldn't advocate people do that, right?
Guys, I have a question. If you guys weren't in OnlyFans, do you have any other kind of like talent or anything else that you could do? Like,
I'm going to go to fashion school. I've
You're
already
going
been
to?
put, yes, I've already put everything in. I'm waiting for the next year because it's summertime now. So this coming up, this beginning of this year, I'm going to be going to fashion school. I've actually been sewing for like 5 years. I'm really good at it. I actually have Instagram where I make clothes and I do that kind of stuff. I'm going to be a designer. So
if you already know how to sew, and if you already know if you know about the textile industry, blah blah blah, then why would you need to go to school? Why wouldn't you just start your own small business and then, you know, create your own?
Because I love it so much that if I can learn every last bit of it, no matter how it is, I would like to learn all that. So I want to have that knowledge because I love it so much that to me, going to that class wouldn't be school. Like to me, it would be something that I want to do because I like to learn. And if I'm learning about something that I love, that I can bonus on by getting a degree that can help me in the future also when it comes to that stuff, then I would love to do that because I want to know every last bit of the thing that I love.
Okay, good. I was just asking because it's, you know, it would be concerning if your only passion was OnlyFans.
Yeah, no. This is just a gateway to get to where I really need to be.
Okay. Got it, babe.
Let's go to the first topic. Pretty, does the average man have options when it comes to the dating market? Okay. Does the average man has options when it comes to the dating market?
Yeah. I think the average man who has not bought into red pill rhetoric does have options when it comes to the dating market. If he understands society, he understands that women are equals. Yeah, he can definitely find somebody if he leans into having a personality and not being an absolute bore and an exhaustion. Yes, he has options. However, if that man has leaned into red pill rhetoric, he is readily making his desires unattainable for him. And what I mean by that is, if you think about it, if you are saying that the majority of women are masculine, right? And then you're saying that you want feminine, submissive, that's now a commodity. which means you need to pay top dollar for that. The average man doesn't have the money to pay for this thing that he has now made a commodity. So if he wants to lean into that kind of rhetoric, it is readily going to push him out of even being eligible to compete in the market. So no, he will not have any options.
Anyone wants to rebuttal this? If he doesn't,
yeah, isn't this just a false dichotomy? Didn't you just create a false dichotomy? You just like made up whatever you think red pill rhetoric is, and then said if you believe that, then X bad thing will happen. Like, why don't, when we were talking about options, let's just start with good options, the average guy. What would be a woman who you think would be a good option for the average guy? What would that look like?
You're asking me?
I'm asking you, yeah.
Me?
I know you're asking me. I don't need you to repeat yourself.
But I just did. So
You
can
don't
you answer
need
the
to.
fucking question,
You don't
please?
need to, and I will not.
No, I didn't think so. You're just going to open your eyes real wide, just not answer the fucking question?
You are. We're already starting off
I
on
don't
a
know
bad note.
I think you are. Answer the fucking question, lady.
I'm not going to answer anything from you.
Answer the fucking question.
That's what's
Answer
not about to
the fucking question.
That is what's not about to happen.
Okay, well then. Then shut the fuck up.
One second, pretty. I will ask the question. Okay, is me?
I'm good.
No.
Yeah, she's good. Let her shut up. She just said she wants to shut up.
Andrew, 1 second. Is me asking the
I'm
question.
not dealing with male man yelling at me. That's what's not going to happen.
So this is what I'm going to say, pretty. It's me. I'm talking to you. Ignore the Grinch in the room, okay? Like what will be like if you're looking at what the man can get, like what will be like a decent woman? Like what would she do for the man? How does she look? Like what would be a decent woman?
A woman in his proximity who's interested in him and he's interested in her.
That doesn't answer the question. What is it? What is a
good
good
I wasn't
woman?
meaning to answer your question.
So you're just not going to participate at all because you're upsetty spaghetti? You're just upsetty spaghetti? Are you just going to be upsetty spaghetti for the rest of the night?
I did not answer your question.
And one second, please. Hey, 1 second. If we're going to blow up the
upsetty
panel,
spaghetti.
if we're going to blow up the panel on the first second of the show, there's no need for us to be told. Like, what would be the qualities of said woman, pretty? Like, let's do these, right?
My gender just disappoints me every time. It's like, you guys make me more sexist every day. Why are you here? Answer the question.
The sun is disappointing you too.
Like, I don't understand. You brought up the topic.
Yeah, it's a disappointment
Answer
for
the
you.
question.
Yeah, the sun is disappointing you as well.
Hey, public.
Just that red rouge on your cheek, sweetheart. That's pretty disappointing too.
Hey, public, since you are public, since you are very close, like what would you define as a decent man for a woman? Can you help us with that?
Yeah, a decent man for a woman.
Yes.
I mean, I think the qualities that people want in each other are similar for the most part. You know, honest, intentional, consistent, have integrity, present. Typical, you know what I mean? Like, you know what it is. Same thing you want for a friend, same thing you want for a partner. It's the same thing.
What about like not fat? Can that be the bare minimum?
You don't want a fat man, then yeah, you can choose not a fat man, but
I meant for the women. You know, we'll go fatter if they're funny or rich or something. You don't think men want fat women?
yeah, I think a lot of men like fat women.
Let me unlock this real quick. Angry man, can you
Fatty
define
lives
what
matter. Most men are fat.
Yeah, but
Right,
we're not talking about men right now. We're talking
This
about
country,
women.
I don't know about in the
Can
world.
they
I
have
know
any
in the West,
standards?
I know a lot of people like to talk about the West. In these countries where they make bread readily available every fucking where you go, yeah, most men are fat. So who are they to judge?
You mean
and
like
say
the
that
Roman
they-
legion who basically operated on bread? They were a bunch of fatties, weren't they?
Who?
The Roman legion.
Who gives a fuck about Rome?
Well, I don't know. Just like the epitome of good men's health. They made statues. They all looked like they were in shape, right? I mean, they were all operating on bread. That was their daily
Just
stipend.
because you want to fuck a Roman don't mean shit to me. I don't
Well,
give a fuck
it's
about
not
a Roman
saying
man.
anything to contend with anything.
you
Just
obsessed
because you
with
want to fuck a Roman don't mean shit to me. Answer
You like
the
Roman men,
question, you
Andrew.
fuck. Answer the question.
Don't you look like a Roman man since you like Roman men so much. You a fat fuck. You got a big ass belly.
You got a gap in your teeth that's this fucking wide. The gap in your teeth is as wide as the gaps in our IQ.
80% of his face covered up.
The gap in your teeth is as wide as the gaps in our IQ, sir.
Shut your weird ass up. You ain't that. You ain't. I ain't.
So
I ain't
now that
I ain't you.
Yo, chill out. Let's have one mic, please.
This
motherfucker got on a hat and a beard.
Make my job easier.
I don't understand why you guys can't respond to arguments.
No, don't please. Again, we're going fighting on the first minute. I'll leave it alone, and we'll fight for the whole show.
I thought we wasn't muting. It's a mutiny or not?
I didn't mute nobody. When you click, it's the button. 1 second. It's the button. When you click on the video, everybody gets muted. I don't mute nobody. I want the conversation to be had. Angry Man, please. Can you define what a decent woman is, like the bare minimum of what a decent woman is, so we can continue the conversation, please? That'll be great.
Bare minimum would be attractive, loyal, submissive, the ability to raise children, the ability to cook and clean. That's bare minimum.
Pretty and public. Do you think this woman is widely available, or you think this is a woman that very few men get?
I think that's widely available. That's bare minimum. That's
what about you?
I disagree.
Support yourself, cook, clean, take care of yourself, brush your teeth.
I
some
disagree.
People on this panel don't do. It's literally it's bare minimum.
I disagree. That's
men
not.
out
That's
here
not
not even
widely.
wiping their ass. Hold on, brother. Men out here not wiping their assholes.
That's
He's
not
talking about
widely
you can't-
available.
You can't find a woman that cook and clean. You can't find a man that wipe his asshole. You can't find men that scrub the bottom of their feet and wash the bottom.
How do you know that men don't?
Yeah, but the difference
cooks and
is
cleans. Who taught you how to cook and clean? You see what I'm saying? Like, you see how y'all just don't be the shit.
How do you know that men don't have? How do you know that men don't have? Let me ask you something. How do you know that men don't have clean assholes? Are you spreading their cheeks and verify them, all of them, one at a time?
I'll tell you why. Multiple reasons why.
Yes.
Kevin Samuels, one of y'all leaders, one of your thought leaders, that's worm food, got on the internet for like a year before he turned into the Kevin Samuels that we all know and hated, and some of y'all love. He got on the internet for a year and taught men that they need to start washing their ass, wiping their ass, wearing cologne, making their bed. He literally got online and was like, men, y'all don't got y'all shit together. Y'all dirty, y'all bums, y'all don't clean underneath your fingernails. That's what he did. That's number one. That's one example. So ask him. Well, you can't ask him.
Okay, but him saying that doesn't prove that men aren't doing that.
Why would he make a whole channel dedicated to telling men to wipe their ass?
Because his entire brand, because his entire brand was about male image at first. It was about
if somebody makes a channel and the channel says black people are really stupid, then we should just assume that that's true because the guy made a channel about it. Should we just assume that?
Oh no!
Like, you see how stupid your logic is, dude? Makes no sense.
That's as dumb as that black hat you got.
So public defender. Let me ask you a question.
Why is it
just killed some guy who had a channel? Okay, bro. As long as we can kill a guy who had a channel once, it's all good.
You ain't even got an American flag or nothing. No, just a black hat.
Why do I need to have an American flag on my hat?
Like, who are you hiding from?
Not stylish enough for you? Do I need the new Nikes to be stylish enough for you, sir? Like, what do I need to do? Okay, you tell me. Should I wear what? FUBUs? I don't know. What the fuck am I supposed to wear that will impress you?
Let's get Angry Man real quick, and I know, Andrew, you're trying to make a point.
It's a good point.
Trying to make a point. He's trying to raise haters.
Not one set. Yeah, it's race. You're race baiting, Andrew, and I'll don't do that.
It's not even race baiting. It's just pointing out.
It is a multi-piece.
Let me respond here for 1 second. Let me just respond so that you guys can understand the position. I'm using the extreme portion of the logic so that you'll understand how silly the position is. That this guy thinks men don't clean their ass because guy on internet who had channel who said they don't. I can make the same argument for anything on planet Earth, including saying black people are dumb because guy made channel that said that. Do you see how dumb that is? It's just dumb.
Let me ask a question, please. Let me ask you a question, public. 1 second. Let me ask a question.
No, you can't. You're not letting me respond to this, man.
Hey, public. 1 second. I got you. Okay, I pass you the microphone. I just want to ask a question. Andrew, you're totally right. If you were on a Viking channel, would you be talking about FUBU, or are you going out of your way to do like some black type of like statement so everybody understands? Like, would you do that?
Yeah, I'm using the extreme point of the logic to demonstrate the point.
Yes. So when was the last time
never accept that the other direction.
I accept it. I already accepted. My question is, when was the last time you used the FUBU argument? Like, when was the last time you said FUBU? Actually.
Yeah, I would tailor the argument and the rhetoric towards the person that I'm talking to who's making the insults my way.
I don't even fucking wear FUBU.
Thank you very much.
Sorry when it came out, and it's still sorry. But I want to real quick.
I didn't even know it was a real thing. Somebody had to tell me.
I
didn't even know it was real.
Hold on. I want to say something real quick to what he said. This is what I'm saying. When you talk to people that don't understand logic and they just use the word, it's hilarious to me. The logic here wouldn't be that he had a channel where he just said stuff. The logic would be the amount of men that gravitated towards his message, which would prove that there was a bunch of men out here with unclean asses. Andrew.
I see. So to respond to this argument,
Andrew, be quiet. Listen, logical man.
Okay, but when are you going to stop talking so I can address the point?
It's the same thing. If I were to say, let me use another part of your stupid ass fucking logic.
I can't wait.
So let's use your racist white channel like that. You would probably like run. Like it would be like a channel with a dude that
let him finish, bro.
Like black people are stupid, right?
I'll be waiting the rest of my life.
The logic would be
let him finish, please. Let him finish, please.
That were on that channel and they were watching it. I could logically assume that a bunch of white people are fucking racist. That would be the logic, right?
So let me get this right. Yeah, let me respond now.
And then there was a page.
Okay, am I allowed to respond?
Members, millions of people that subscribed to the page that were white and were racist, and they liked the racist white.
We're being discriminated against.
I don't know if he's ever going to let me respond here.
Can you guys let him finish, please?
Men have a hard time washing their
Can you guys let him finish, please, so y'all can respond, please? Because when you're talking,
well, how long does it take him to finish, bro?
He's going to land the plane. He's going to land the plane, and then you guys got it. Stop behaving like kindergarten. Stop behaving like kindergartens, please. Stop behaving like kindergartens, please. If you don't have respect for us, just say it, please. Like if we went on your shows, we wouldn't be interrupting.
I don't know. Usually, a moderator makes a person make one point at a time. The other person responds to the point.
And you did you did three at a time. You
I did 1 point.
One point, and use every example. So he has right to actually give 1 point to every example.
Point. Can I respond to it now?
Let him finish, please.
Okay, he's just going to say the same thing, but go ahead.
I'm done. He got it. No, I'm done. I wasn't going to say the same thing.
Okay, so yeah, this is super easy. So no, the logical entailment that you have is incorrect. If it was the case, indeed, that you said, oh, Kevin Samuels says men don't wash their asses and millions of men subscribe to it, therefore true, then that would mean if you had a challenge that black people are stupid, million men subscribe to it. Ipso facto, that would also be true using your line of logic. By the way, I can demonstrate you don't know shit about logic. I'll do it really simple, and you'll never answer this question because you can't. If you know a single thing about logic, just tell me the 3 laws of logic. What are they? Huh? What are the 3 laws of logic? What are they? What are the 3 laws? You're muted, bro. What are the 3 laws of logic? Answer the question, please.
Oh, you were really expecting me to answer your dumb?
Yeah, because you can't. You can't. You don't know anything about logic. Just sit there.
There's the law of identity. There's the law of non-contradiction.
Wait, can you do the last one?
And then there's the law of excluded middle.
Oh my God! Even Sarah can name them.
Law of identity is like this thing is this. Law of non-contradiction is like that can absolute like an apple can't be an orange, right? And then you have the excluded middle, which means there is no gray area, and it either is or it isn't.
Yeah,
that's
close.
That's
a contradiction would be P and not P. What you referenced there was the law of identity.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, but we should ask our logician friend here. He's a genius. If anybody knew anything about logic, like the guy can't name the 3 laws of logic, they would know that.
Yeah, what is the use in naming the 3 laws of logic? Like for you, for an example, when you aren't logical,
because
like,
you're basically because you're creating.
You know the definition of a word. Hold on. Knowing the concept, right, of something and being able to exhibit it is more important than understanding or just being able to regurgitate a definition.
I actually agree.
So you just say, I know, but you don't follow that though, because you're not logical.
Okay, so let's
because what you just said didn't refute what I was saying.
Yeah,
you
it did.
just changed, you just pivoted and you moved it to something else.
No, it's no. I was testing the consistency.
Hold on. I'll tell you again one more time.
Okay.
Slow it down for you.
I'll slow it
The
down.
logic is the point that I was making was that men don't wipe their asses.
Uh-huh.
And he said, well, how do you know that? And I
Right.
said, because there was a channel that was created where a man was teaching men that they need to wipe their ass.
Great.
That was not the sum total of his channel.
No, let him finish. Let him finish. I want to hear the rest. I want to hear the rest. Hang on, we're almost done.
Logically, that would conclude that obviously a lot of men don't wipe their fucking asses. That's
Okay.
not logical.
No. They could also no. Let's walk through the logic so that you understand.
Oh, you're so disingenuous.
If I had a channel that said, "Oh, lots and lots of black people can't be dads," and lots of people subscribe to it, would that make it true? Would that literally make it true because lots and lots of people subscribe to it?
That's a different debate.
It's the same shit, bro.
Discussion.
It's the same exact logic of entailment. Here, I'll explain how. Let me hang on, bro. Let me explain how. When you say X, right, you're talking about an X and an entailment of Y. So for you, X is man go to channel. If there's millions of subscribers, therefore X must be true. Men, therefore, must need to know how to wipe their asses because otherwise, why would a guy be around to teach him how to? Got it. Makes total sense. But the same fucking thing would apply if you had a channel that said, I think black people dumb, right? And a bunch of people subscribed to it and said, oh, yeah, that's true. Then it must also be. It's the same fucking logic. It's an entailment of X. You don't know what you're talking about, bro. I don't know logic. I don't know logic.
The definition.
Hey, public, you are wrong. You are wrong because of public. You are wrong because of
I
this, right?
appreciate that.
No, but you are wrong because of this. Let me explain to you. All right. For example, first of all, Kevin Samuels is an image consultant. He has to talk about those shit. That's the first one. Like this is literally his job to talk about hygiene, how men groom themselves, how men dress, and all that. And the second part, which is the most important, Shira 7 kept talking about woman hygiene too. This doesn't mean that women are dirty. Shira 7 is one of these women that everybody watches. And for you, I'm not ever going to say most women are dirty because there was a woman on the internet tell women how many times they should change their tampon per week and how they should wear. But like I wouldn't do that. So like the same way that doesn't prove that men are dirty. I don't think Shira 7 giving women how to actually take care of their hygiene, that doesn't make them dirty either. So what is your point exactly? Like, why are you saying that?
Because what you just said is made. I don't watch Share 7 that much. I don't know how much you do.
So why are you fighting me or information you don't have?
I've never heard her say that, so I can't refute.
Because you literally said I don't watch it that much. Why are you fighting me or information that you don't have? Public, how are you starting your message saying public? How are you starting your message saying this? I don't follow her or don't watch her content like that, but I never saw her doing that. If I don't watch the Power Rangers, I don't know the color of them because I don't watch them. Why are you refuting that? Just accept it.
I didn't refute it. I literally just said I was about to say I can't argue against what she said in that instance because I never saw her say it. That's what I was saying.
Is the average man dirty?
Yes.
Is the average woman dirty?
No.
Have you ever walk in the end of a shift
but
and smell a restroom?
By this logic, there are countless YouTube channels that say black women are the worst women on the planet. By your logic, public defender, that would mean black women are the worst women on the planet.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
You and Andrew both are saying the same stupid thing. My point would be if I were trying to prove that a bunch of black men or men believed that. Listen to what I'm saying. If I were trying to prove that there was a bunch of black men who believed what you just said to be true about black women, and you said, why do you think that? And I said, well, there's a bunch of channels on here that talk crazy about black women, which there are, and a bunch of black men subscribe to those channels. Therefore, I can conclude that that black men believe what's happening on these channels.
Many people have come to this
Let me
conclusion
respond to him
because
real
of
quick.
those same
Let me
channels.
respond to him real quick.
Like they're
Let
literally,
me get.
the men are literally being manipulated.
One second, Brian. One second. Let me get Angry Man on Pearl, please.
Let me respond. Let me respond to what he's saying real quick. So basically, what your line of logic is, what your line of logic is that if Kevin Samuels does a channel where he's telling men they need to wipe their ass because that men, the group he's targeting, subscribes, that means that they don't know how to wipe their ass. But like I said, by that same logic, the channels that talk about black women like that have black women that subscribe to those channels as well. So are you saying that the black women that subscribe to those channels believe themselves to be raggedy women?
Yes, and that happens. It's not an absolute. Logically, there's no absolute. There's not like every black woman doesn't think the same. So obviously there are some self-hating black women, like there's some self-hating black men.
Bro, here's the thing. If a guy makes a channel about working on cars, just because he specifically talks about fixing the transmission that day doesn't mean that everybody that subscribed has a broken transmission. That what you're saying isn't logical, bro. It's not.
That wasn't logical. That's why y'all need to stop practicing analogies on these lives, because what the fuck does that have to do with anything? That was dumb as fuck. That's not the same thing. That is not a one-to-one.
It's absolutely the same thing.
It's not a one-to-one, bro.
I think what public offenders trying to say is that if there's a market out there for a particular talking piece, then people tend to flock to it. It's not that he's not saying. I don't think it's agreeable to say that men don't know how to wipe their asses.
But does it prove the talking piece?
I don't think it proves it. What I'm saying is if there's a market out there for that, that's where they flock. It doesn't mean that it means men don't know how to wipe their asses. And why are we still talking about this?
I don't know, because
well, I can tell you why. It's
wait. The whole reason we're talking about this. The whole reason we're talking about this.
They asked me to prove it, and I just gave them an example. How the fuck do you prove that men don't wipe their ass, though? That's what I'm saying. It's stupid to begin with. Like,
then why would you make the statement then?
Wait, this is what happened. What happened was Fatty asked me a question about the bare minimum for a good woman. The moment I said cooking and cleaning, you got triggered, public defender. That's why you had to talk about black men not being able to wipe their men in general not being able to wipe their ass, because you got offended by the freaking point of them needing to cook and clean. Because what I was gonna say after that, before you interrupted me, was no, there isn't a lot of women out here nowadays that cook and clean or want to cook and clean.
So the whole reason why black has entered the conversation is because there's a racist on the panel.
Who?
He did not bring up black. Public did not bring up black. Black was brought up by Andrew.
So
right? The word black was not brought up.
Would that prove that I was racist?
It stated that men. But you're gonna skirt over that part and bring up an example about black women in a conversation that is not about.
I didn't bring up black women.
I'm not talking to you, dude. I've already said I'm not talking to you. I'm speaking to Angry Man.
Oh.
So anyways, that is the whole reason why that has entered the conversation. So don't tell him that. That's not what he said.
I would disagree. The reason black came up in the conversation is because he brought up Kevin Samuels. A large portion of his demographic is black men. That's another reason it was brought up. You brought up Kevin Samuels.
No. You see, it was only brought up because Andrew's an evil racist because he said the word black.
No. I disagree with Pretty a little bit. I think that Angry Man brought up black women because he hates black women.
He did bring up black women.
I brought up black women.
Y'all can't wait to talk bad about
bring up black women.
I brought up black women. Bro, check this out. I brought up black women as an example, okay? Mark Lamont Hill already got that job, bro. Fall back.
Got what job?
The job you're trying to do right now.
I think the racism commentary is particularly directed from Pretty to Andrew because he utilized the argument back to public offender, I believe it was, regarding, if there was a channel that all black people are stupid, then XYZ, right? And he wasn't saying that from the beatings of his heart. He was saying that as a logical example in an argument to kick back as something that's very far and extreme.
I can't be racist. I have a black ex-wife.
Hold on real quick. And if we're gonna make hold on.
Need to use a black example.
Hold on. I haven't spoke yet. And
Go
if we're going to go
ahead,
to that
Ali.
extreme, then you should have addressed public offender for being a sexist for saying that men don't wipe their ass. Pretty intellectual. If we're going to be consistent, if we're going to talk about racists, if we're going to talk about sexist, if we're going to talk about homophobes, if we're going to have a show,
we know you want to defend the white team.
I'm not going to.
You can't be sexist towards men.
Right. Let me finish.
That's
if
impossible.
If he can say that the men don't wipe their ass, which he can't even substantiate that, then that's being sexist. And say if we said about women, we're being misogynistic. If we say something about what women don't do. So if he's saying something about men, then you have to acknowledge the fact. If you're going to acknowledge someone's being racist, then we have to acknowledge somebody's being a sexist.
I said black was brought into the conversation because we have a racist.
No, we're making it. We have no. Hold on. Everybody on this panel. Hold on, real quick.
Who's the racist?
Everybody, before we go.
Am I the racist, Pretty?
Hold on, real quick.
Is it me? Were you talking about me?
Andrew, please hold on, please. We let the show go on as long as possible in this state, right? Let's get back on the topic. Let's not make it racist. Let's not make it sexist. Let's not make it misogynist, all these things. Let's have a discussion. If you agree and disagree, let's stand it on that. Like prove your arguments and let's stay there.
And I want to actually redirect the conversation. Lady Chen, is the average man dirty? Does the average man knows how to take care of his hygiene? And after that, we go to the woman. Go ahead, Lady Chen. What do you think?
I would assume so.
You would assume that the average man is doesn't know how to take care of his hygiene.
No, I would assume that he's clean. So, yeah.
What about the average woman? Do you agree? Like angry men,
what regards in clean? Like being in just grooming?
No, they know how to take care of their hygiene because there was public offender statement saying that they don't even know how to wipe their ass. Do you think
most men don't wipe their ass, Lady Chan? Have you dealt with men and while you were dealing with them, they had doo-doo in their drawers? Like, damn, you don't wipe your ass. Have you come across that majority of men you dealt with? No. And when you went to go wash their clothes, did you see skid marks on their dirty drawers and doo-doo marks and go, damn, black men don't wipe their ass? Did that happen? And Sarah, the man you dealt with, we like, damn, them some shit in them drawers. Like, did you come across that?
No shit in the jaws.
Let's have a genuine
no
conversation.
Shit in the jaws.
Come on, public. We've been spending. It's almost 30 minutes talking about doo-doo and draws, man.
I told you because I brought up women cooking and cleaning, and he lost his shit. That's where it came from.
And do you guys, and especially I want to ask Pretty, do you really think that most women are what Angry Man described? Like know how to cook, know how to clean, are loyal. Like you believe that most women
I
are
don't know
that?
if he said loyal. I think he said cooking and cleaning. So
I did say loyal. I said loyal.
He actually did more. And this is my point, right?
All right. Okay. Let me answer your question.
Go ahead.
How you gonna have a point before I answer? Anyway, yes, I do believe the majority of women know how to cook. They know how to clean. They do know how to take care of themselves because the majority of women do not get, or the average age women get married is 28, and most people leave their homes when they become an adult. So that means that was a full decade of living by yourself and needing to be in the world where you need to cook and you need to clean your house. So I do believe the majority of women know how to clean their house. In addition, because women have been conditioned to desire men, their company as a whole, to be male-centered as a social construct, yeah, a lot of women are loyal to those men, even when the men don't deserve it. So yes, I do believe that is the majority of women.
Loads of women don't have to. This era of women, they can't cook. Listen, do you know how many men? Yeah, right. That I hear that telling me, "Oh, girls can't cook, women can't cook, they can't." Stop. That's the previous era that could cook. That was down for cooking and cleaning. This era, no.
Do you think can't and won't are the same, Lady
Shan?
Lady Shan, do you believe can't and won't are the same?
The entire name, like pretty intellectual. You know, Lady Shan. Go ahead, repeat that. Pretty intellectual.
Thank you. Do you believe can't and won't are the same?
No, clearly they're not. They're two different words.
Right. So won't cook for a man. So won't cook for a man
like I was
Because
saying,
men have reported back that they don't cook
And your
for them
microphone gets drowned out when.
versus
And one second, please. Your microphone. Chan, your microphone gets drowned
Let me
out when
finish
she's.
my point.
Your microphone gets drowned out when she's talking. Let her. Chan, let her ask the question. No, it's not about turning up. He gets drowned out. Let her finish the question, then you got it.
Yeah, we need
Go
to
ahead,
get
Pretty.
some
Make your
lavender
statement.
candles going. It's bedtime. Anyway,
Go ahead.
so do you believe that the majority of not do you believe, because a woman decides that she does not have to cook for a man, she does not have to perform for a man when she's dating those men, it does not mean the woman does not have the ability to do so. More women are saying, I do not wish to perform for men. It doesn't mean she does not know how to. So Angry Man's question was, do they know how? Not will they do it for you? It's do they know how to cook and clean? In which I said majority do. Yes, it does not mean the majority is going to do it for you.
And my answer still stays. The majority of them don't know how to cook and don't know. Them don't.
Yeah, I agree with Lady Chan. Like, if you look at the culture, a lot of women, modern women, they view that as demeaning. They view having to cook and clean and do all of the things that their mothers or their grandmothers did as demeaning. Some even consider it slavery. So there are women that will say, I won't, but really they can't because they don't know how. They can't boil water.
This might be, I might be setting myself up, but do you guys think that the average modern man knows how to build a house with his bare hands?
No, but he knows how to cook.
But cooking is a woman's job according to the patriarchy, correct?
No, cooking.
So we're doing gender roles because he mentioned gender
no,
roles.
No,
right?
Oh my God. No,
if we're doing gender roles, I just want to go gender role for gender role.
The best. Can you let me answer the question? If woman job according to the patriarchy was cooking, most of Michelin chefs wouldn't be men. Like on the top 30 Michelin, the best cooks in the planet are men. So we one second. So one second, please. 1 second. So we transition.
You're gonna be the moderator. You ain't moderating that much.
Can I run my own show? Like, why are you guys acting up? No. Every time that y'all came here, y'all play y'all position. All of a sudden, y'all came crazy. Why? Today. Can we have a conversation? Can we have a conversation, public offender?
Can we?
Okay. So what I'm saying is that most roles are democratized now. Like men know how to cook and clean, women go to work. Like the functions of both of genders actually meshed up. Like y'all keep saying that women now work more and do those things and do this and do that. The same way women now know how to make money, have credit cards, houses, and all that. Men started to do things that were traditionally feminine.
But Fatty, it's a false equivalency. He's comparing building a house to cooking a pan
to survival skills.
It's ridiculous.
How many hours does it take you to build a house, Angry Man?
It's not a gender public. That's not a gender role. No, building a house, public offender. We're not gonna public. There's twice you about to do this. First we was wiping ass.
I can't have a conversation.
No, hold on, brother. No, brother. Hold on.
Jesus Christ.
Public. Let's have a genuine conversation.
You want me here or not?
No. First we were wiping ass. A man building a house is not a gender role. Come on.
Let me ask the question, Ali. You not even letting the question get asked.
We already
go ahead. What is the question?
Ask the question. You don't even know what's about to happen. Let me ask the question. So the question again: how many hours? If you I'm just guesstimate. You ain't got to be right or wrong. I'm not trying to lock you in or nothing. I'm being real. How many hours do you think it takes to build a 2,000 square foot, a 1,500 square foot house?
Up to code? Up to code or not up to code?
I don't. Either one. Whatever one you want to do.
No, I mean not up to code. It would probably only take a few days if you had all the materials. If
okay, let's go up to code because we want you to be able to.
Well, I mean, if it was up to code and I had to do it by hand, let's say
no. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Andrew.
So public defender.
You have all the tools and everything modern. You have all of that, right? But you have to build it yourself, right? I'm asking you.
For me, it would probably take me, if it was all up to code, it would probably take me somewhere 6 to 8 weeks, I would guess. If it was 2,000 square feet, it was all up to code. And I had all the materials and all the tools and all the crew.
Yeah, 5. So 5, that's 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, roughly, right? So you're talking about 40 hours times 6, correct?
Yeah,
Okay,
and I'm
cool.
not a builder, but I think
If you're
they
getting
can do
ready to
that 6 to 8
compare
weeks.
this,
Yeah.
if you're
I'm
getting
not
ready to
trying to-
compare this to how often a
I'm not
woman
trying
has
to
to
track
cook, which is every
anybody.
day.
No, I understand. I understand the question.
asking a
I'm
real
happy to
question.
answer it. Yeah, probably 6 to 8 weeks for me to do it.
Okay, so we talking what? 240 hours ish, right? Does that sound right?
Something like that. Sure.
Okay, cool. So we're talking about 240 hours to build a home. Okay, how many hours do you think a person spends? I don't know, in a lifetime cooking.
I knew this is where he was going with it.
Is it over 240 hours or is it less than 240? If you had to guess,
Probably the
just
same
out of
amount.
curiosity.
You mean
Probably
based
less
on the
time,
averages of person?
Probably less time than it takes for the man to
Well,
work.
hang on. I'm sorry. Do men only build one house?
No, listen, that's what I'm saying. Yes,
All right.
you only built the one house you live in because most people build a house and they live in it. They don't build.
Most people don't build a house and then
build
live
a
in it.
house
No, that's
and then
incorrect.
live in the house.
No, most
That's
people
what
don't build a
people
house and then live in it. That's incorrect.
No,
in
hold on.
2025,
Hold
in
on.
2025.
No, hold on. We're not about to hold on.
built a house and they lived
hold
in it.
on. This is a bad argument again. If you live with
It's a
yourself,
bad
you don't have to
argument
cook.
because it blows up y'all dumbass
Let me
point.
finish. No, it's
No, it
You know
doesn't.
what? No, can I finish, y'all, please? It's a disingenuous argument because when a woman wants a man to cook, she'll say everybody should learn how to cook. But once she has to cook for a man, she's a slave or a maid. If she's single, she's cooking for herself. She's just being an adult. So it's nothing wrong with adding an extra plate and making seeing as barbaric if I'm asking a woman to cook in a house, especially if I'm providing. You keep making these disingenuous arguments that are not relevant to the conversation, nor is it you're equating cooking to building a house, but that's not a gender role. So if a woman cooking is too difficult to be with a man, why is it okay to cook for herself or cook for her children? It's only when she has to cook for a man where it becomes problematic and public offender, you start fighting over it. If she can cook for herself as an adult and a single woman and she's strong and independent, it should be no problem to cook for a man that loves her and providing for her.
Yeah, I think I'm just talking about hours.
Can you address what I just? Can you address what I just?
Hold on. I
am public.
I'm going to address what you're saying.
It's
You
fine.
literally
It's fine.
won't let me talk.
It's fine.
Okay. Jesus Christ. So again, the point isn't can a woman just add on another plate, because to do that, it takes more labor. Whether you acknowledge that or not, it's hilarious. To cook more food takes more time.
No, it
takes
doesn't.
more prep time.
No,
it
it
literally
doesn't.
does. If you
No,
got,
it doesn't.
if you only got to cut a half an onion and you got to
It
cut
does
a whole
not.
onion,
Hey,
it takes
hey,
double
watch
the
this.
amount of
Hey,
time.
hold on. Hey,
Public
man.
offender. Can I
Hold
ask
on.
a question,
It does
Patty?
not.
Go ahead. Y'all don't like to hear.
Do you
y'all don't like
find
to
it to be kind of like a tit for tat in terms of a relationship and gender roles? Like it's always going to be tit for tat. You do this, I do that, and it has to equalize precisely on the point. Is that your belief?
No. I'm saying I don't believe in gender roles. I'm using the gender role argument and the modern woman argument because remember, we got here because the whole thing was the women nowadays don't know how to cook. And I'm like, okay, cool. So if we're going by the gender roles that women should know how to cook and women should cook and clean for their man, then what do men do, modern men do today that traditional men used to do?
Yes.
And I just
Okay,
thought of
public
defender.
What do you mean? Men used to build houses? Hang on. Let me respond. Hang on. I haven't said a word. Let me respond to this. So the absurdity of your argument is like, if you're talking about traditional gender roles, yeah, that's great. You're right on the house building thing. Men used to build a lot of houses, and guess what? They still build all the houses. That's why if you look at the construction industry, it's 99%, 98% men. But when you're talking about cooking, right, the reason, and by the way, it wasn't mostly women who did cooking, it was just mostly women who stayed at home who did cooking. That's why it's considered a traditional family role. It's part of the whole child rearing aspect. That's the whole point of it.
The way that you're just making stuff up is hilarious.
Which thing do you think I'm making up?
Women do and still to this day in a relationship, even in 2025, all the modern shit y'all talking about, women still do cook more than men.
Do you know why
women
that is,
still
though?
do more labor in the home than men.
No,
I know
wait.
why, Andrew. I
Why?
know
Why?
Secondly, because
Why?
most of the time in a relationship, the woman works outside the home less than the man.
Oh, I got it. So she has additional duties. Oh, gee, I'm so fucking confused. I didn't know that.
Hold on, brother. I'm not a liar, so I'll tell the truth. Secondly, your whole premise around why men build homes is stupid because the reason why women aren't in construction at a higher rate, I won't say at the same rate as men, but at a higher rate, is because men lock them out. That's like saying
when did they lock them out?
They have no
Hang on. Let me engage with the argument. Hang on, before you guys all cut in, let me just have a quick back and forth with them on it, please.
Ridiculous. So again, that saying that women aren't in construction and trying to use that for an argument like, well, men still build their homes. Yeah, because it's still ran by men, because the patriarchy says that women, you can't have certain jobs. Even if
And what restrictions are put on women right now from going and building houses?
Listen, you cut me off too early. Again, I'll repeat it. Even if on paper it says that women can work there, that doesn't stop something called implicit bias. Like racism, for an example, still exists. It doesn't have to exist on paper. It still exists in society. White people are having implicit bias against black people or against Latino people, whatever.
Why do you think that there would be a bias from people who are running construction crews about hiring women to do construction, do you think?
Because they're misogynistic.
Oh, not because women are much weaker and can't do the job as well?
No, that's not, because actually
it's not?
There was a study done that said that when men and when a construction site is full of men, the likelihood of injury is exceedingly high.
What does that have to do with doing construction?
Stop. When a construction site has both men and women
building,
the construction site, the rate of injuries goes down. They're more productive when both men and women are together.
Are the women building with them in this study? Are the women? Hang on, I just want some clarification. Are the women building with the men in this scenario?
They work on the fucking site.
I see. So then, if that's the case, why wouldn't construction companies who don't want the liability of injury hire more women, since that would up their bottom line?
They're misogynistic.
Because they're misogyny. So misogyny is going to keep them from making money. Brilliant analysis. So I could have a construction company hire a ton of women at less of a cost than men, because why? Because they can't get a job anywhere else due to misogyny. I could cut their pay significantly, make a shitload of money, and I could keep down the accidents in the workplace, and I'm not doing it because I'm misogynistic. Brilliant analysis, sir.
I got a question though. Let's say you meet the top G. You meet a top G.
Oh, Jesus.
A top G.
Andrew?
Yeah, sure.
Andrew Taylor good. There's a difference.
A top G.
These aren't real top
You meet the
Gs.
top G, you're like, this is the one, this is the guy I want to marry, I want to have
I'm
kids.
dropping everyone. Are we talking about you?
I'm not even talking to you.
You're talking to me.
I'm talking to her. So you do have this male best friend. You guys have been friends for 16 years. If the right man steps to you, let's say, do you have a celebrity crush? Michael B. Jordan?
No.
Michael B. Jordan? Who's like a...
Okay, I'll just say The Rock.
The Rock? Okay. The Rock steps to you.
I don't like his mentality, but yeah, The Rock.
Wait, you don't like The Rock's mentality?
Yeah,
Wait, what? If he kept his mouth.
What about Bumsfeld? Wait, what's his name? The bodybuilder?
Who's that?
What's his name? Bumsfeld.
No.
Bumstead. Chris Bumstead. You don't know the bodybuilder? Okay, so
someone you just really are down for.
So The Rock?
Yeah, just because of physically, he looks like The Rock. That's my type.
The Rock is your...
Have you seen his pictures, like, back in the day? With his turtleneck and his tucked in shirt?
Yeah. Yes.
And his fanny pack?
That's funny. Wait, so okay, your celebrity crush steps to you, and you've been dating... He just wants you to not be friends with this guy anymore. Do you do the friend breakup, or do you...
Yeah, Corey's not going anywhere.
So your dream guy, he's perfect in every way, except that he doesn't want you to have a male best friend.
That wouldn't make any sense, because he could talk to him, he could FaceTime him, he's gonna know who Corey is. When I've been in relationships, whenever I had arguments with my man, Corey had nothing to do with that. I didn't go bitch to Corey about it. He didn't come to me and say, "Oh, you should break up with him." He's never interfered in the relationship ever.
But he's saying, like, in this scenario.
It's not what your male friend is doing. Let's assume your male friend is everything's above board. There's absolutely no, at least on your part, there's no concerns there. He's not acted in a way that would give your potential mate any concern whatsoever. But it still is his desire for you to not have this male friend. Do you pick the male friend,
like,
or do
ever
you pick
in
the
my
man?
life? Like, ever again?
Yeah, sure. Including your male friend of 16 years that you do have.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not giving up that friendship. because he knows things about me that like we've experienced a lot together. Nothing sexual. We were never close like that. We don't sleep in the same bed. Nothing like that. It's never been like that. It's literally just been a bro relationship. I'm 30. We've been together, not together. We've been friends since we were 14.
I think that's.
Nothing has ever.
I think that relationship
30,
is worth keeping.
Yeah,
it's called a ride or die.
Told me, don't ever get rid of a friend like that because he's a really good friend. Like,
could you see him in a different light?
Ew, no.
And especially because you guys have that. What is there to be jealous about?
No,
just
yeah,
because he has a penis?
No,
I mean,
he's not my type. I'm not his type. It would just never happen.
I think it would more just naturally fizzle out
So-
if you really are all in with your husband. Yeah. He will become your
Then
best
would your
friend.
girlfriend
and then,
fizzle out?
there's only
That
so
doesn't
much
make
time and
sense.
energy that you have anyways. It's like you're gonna have kids. You're gonna have a home. It's like naturally things are just gonna.
My attention's gonna go to them, not to Corey. That sounds dumb.
Yeah.
Like if my man had a girl that was a friend to him, and they've never done anything sexual, I would not care.
Right, but what if the guy that you're interested in, your dream guy, he does care, and he's not listening to your justifications or your rationale or your reasoning. For him, it's just an outright deal breaker. Your dream guy steps to you, everything that you want in looks, personality, his success, his income, whatever. Let's go to the extreme. He's a billionaire, massive peen.
Oh my God, that's a myth.
That's a myth.
Massive peen.
Yeah, that's
fine.
a myth.
Okay.
Bodybuilder.
Whatever.
I can never wait
Bodybuilder.
for a rich guy. Rich people have too many damn problems.
What if he doesn't have problems?
He's just your dream
What if
guy.
he's like
he's just your dream guy?
Dream guy. He steps to
If
you.
he's my dream guy, he's not going to tell me you need to drop that
But
friend.
he's your dream. Okay, but hold on. He's your dream guy in every single way, but one.
Yeah.
Then he's not the dream
But
guy.
he's
have that friend.
But no one's perfect.
Right.
Just
So
for this scenario though, just shits and.
If you guys want me to lie and say I drop him, I wouldn't.
No.
I don't know. We're just trying to see
That's
to the
her
full
truth.
extent.
You don't lie.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm trying to think of a scenario.
And that's the problem
where-
of society is thinking that we need to settle for stupid shit like that.
That's not
instead of
stupid.
instead of
Not
stepping
stupid.
it up and say that's just not my guy. That's not actually my dream guy.
Like if
my
you-
dream
if you-
guy will come in and he will be totally
He would
fine.
No, if you literally met Corey, you would, and you see our dynamic, you would see that it's literally
Doesn't
just a platonic
matter.
friendship.
Doesn't
Let's
matter.
FaceTime him. Let's
That's
ask him. I'm just kidding.
insane.
Did
he
you want to check
respond?
to see if he's responded?
Oh, you texted him?
Oh,
Yeah, she texted him.
Oh,
if-
he answered?
What did he say?
He said, God, no. The fuck off, lesbian. Weird ass. Why would you even ask that?
I feel like he's watching, and he's like, let me make sure. I don't look
no
like a
different
sim.
than if he was your brother.
That's how we
Biologically,
talk
what
to
are you
each
just gonna
other.
drop your brother? It doesn't make any sense.
Maybe he's watching the show.
I know,
Like, literally, that's how we talk to each other. I call him a bitch all the time. You know, men don't like being called bitch. But
he
that's How we
gay?
talk.
Maybe
They are brother and sister by water, or whatever you want to say.
I would not
It's
accept
not
that.
My
blood,
mom
it's
calls
water.
him her white son. Like it's just
What
not. It's a white guy. He's not a big buff black dude with dreads, sexy. It's not like that.
Is he cute?
He's a skinny white boy.
Would that make a
Is he
difference, Nick?
single?
Is if the guy was
his
in,
physique
if you didn't
make a
feel
difference?
any competitive, like you can fuck her better, you look better, you make better money, she likes you better, would you still feel that same like hell no, you can't hang out with that little twerpy guy that you're not even into?
Doesn't matter if he's twerking.
You know what? If it was, but what if
crazy?
it were
It doesn't
adopted
matter.
brother and sister?
Doesn't matter if you. Okay,
don't
well,
know.
how far do we extend this, right? So, okay, well, you should trust your girl. That you should let her go to a singles club, and all clubs are singles clubs, and let her get drunk and let her dance.
Let her? You own
Yes.
her?
Okay,
Are you
that's
her
what
fucking
happened.
parent?
It happened to me in
So
college.
If I'm
Let
being
her.
honest with you, I
Yeah.
don't go out to clubs anyways. Like you're gonna
Here-
get to know the woman that I am. I don't go to
Well,
clubs.
I'm not
I don't
talking
drink.
about. I'm speaking in generalities here. So,
And let her.
but how
is
far
the
do you
issue.
take? How far do you take your? How far do you take that?
I'm
Like,
a
who are you
grown ass
dealing-
woman.
no, but, like,
Nobody
who are you
owns
dealing
me.
with,
I don't
though?
get permission. They either want to be with me and they're down for it, or they're not. That's not my fucking
And you also
problem.
have
Okay,
to-
so if I'm
have
in
to
a
vet that
so
woman.
hold on, just to be clear, you're a grown ass woman,
Yeah.
and you're in a monogamous relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
at some point in the relationship, you determine, I want to go fuck somebody else, and your boyfriend says, no, I'm not letting you do that.
It wouldn't go that way. I would bring it to my partner and I would say, this is a desire that I have.
Oh well, that's an instant breakup for any respectable guy.
I'm having this fantasy. Just like he could come to me and say, there's this girl at the gym that's super hot. What do you think?
I think confessing temptation can be healthy, but that's why you have other people to confess
I understand,
to.
but let me just interject. Sometimes it's just a matter of needing to have the safety to be honest with the person and say, I'm having this desire. Let's talk it through. Why am I having this? Is there a need that's not getting met?
That's a separate
But
conversation.
at the end of the day, if I truly wanted to go and sleep with somebody else, this or that, it's never a permission thing. It's
but what I'm trying to, you have the agency to go out and do whatever you want.
But if I love
hold on,
you-
let me finish. What I'm trying to articulate here is that the relationship is over. Okay, it's not going to be a controlling thing, but I'm letting you know that if you're
Lol Paladins donated $200. You need to let her ask another D, otherwise you're controlling and abusive. Send these 304s back to the streets.
Well put, Law Paladin. So, look, I am going to be upfront about my expectations and standards and preferences.
So we
Hold
probably
on.
wouldn't end up in a
Can you stop
relationship.
interrupting? Stop. So, if a girl is inclined to, for example, go out to nightclubs, hey, if you want to go do that, you have the power to go do it. Our relationship is over. If you want to, obviously, I wouldn't even consider, like a girl couldn't even step to me and be like, I want to be with another dude.
So that's
it's
the thing.
over.
What you need
there
to
is no conversation.
But what you need to understand
You
is
need to learn how to let people finish their sentence.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Fully finish their sentence, because it's very complicated when there's multiple people talking. Only one person can be heard at a time. Go ahead.
I was just saying that we, like a person like you and I, if we have those differences in philosophies or whatever you want to say, relationship orientation is what I call it, we would never end up in an exclusive relationship with each other. We're just not compatible, and that's fine. I would only be with the compatible men who operate the same way, right?
That's fine.
in a sense, it works perfectly because they're the same way. We all have the expectation. We have the same understanding, and that's it. If we hit a road where we're not compatible, we just part ways. Easy peasy.
Now, Andrew, I've heard you had interesting conversations that's perhaps somewhat related to the whole friend dynamic here, related to submission. Andrew, I'd like to perhaps hear you have a bit of a back and forth with her when it comes. Do you consider yourself submissive? Like, would you be?
100%.
Would you be submissive to a man?
100%. I want a man to lead.
Also,
go ahead, Andrew.
So let me kind of give you my perspective here, and you can tell me what you think. But if you're in a committed relationship, or a woman expects you to be in a committed relationship, wouldn't it be a great sign of respect from somebody who claims that they're submissive to remove from the category any male friends that they may have? As men often say, it's not that I don't trust you, I don't trust them. The truth is both, though, right? The truth is that they're looking for respect from their woman, and they know that, as the old saying goes, right, a shoulder to cry on becomes a... You can finish it, right? A shoulder to cry on becomes a what?
I don't know, but I can imagine.
I have no idea. I've never even heard that.
Becomes a D to ride on, right? A shoulder to cry on becomes a D to ride on.
never heard
That's the old adage, right? Is that and it's true. So if you guys will humor me for just a second, isn't it true that when you're in a vulnerable state, all of you probably on this panel have had male friends who've probably tried to exploit that so that they could have sex with you?
Yes.
Am I wrong?
No.
A male friend, no.
Yes.
Or a male period.
Well, a male, yeah, in general, yeah.
Yeah, right. So I mean, so men, especially when we're going through high school, middle school, things like that, we see all sorts of pathetic fuckers who do this type of shit, right? They're like, she just broke up with such and such. Oh, that's terrible, sweetheart. I'm so sorry that happened to you. You know exactly what I'm talking about. All of you know exactly what I'm talking about. So that's kind of my line on this is, don't you think that it's really respectful if you want a committed relationship? If he says, look, I'm the focus then. Yeah. If I'm your man, I'm the focus, and that's that.
And he needs to deserve that, right?
Hang on. Let her finish. You've had a lot of speaking time, and no disrespect to you, but let us have this exchange if you don't mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I agree with you because I've been in 2 relationships, and in both relationships, they were the main focus. It wasn't Corey. Every time I went to go out and hang out with people, it was literally with my man. I was with my man 24/7. Sure. And for me personally, I'm not sexually attracted to Corey. He's not sexually attracted to me. It has never been like that. We've even had this conversation before. I said, have you ever looked at me like that? He's like, ew, no. I was like, okay, good, thank God. Because that would have been weird for our relationship if he ever told me.
Sure. Well, I mean, we're just going to assume it's all true, or we'll assume he's your gay friend or whatever. Regardless of all of that.
Yeah.
If your man says to you, listen, as a sign of respect to me, I want all men cut out of your life. Okay? I want them out of your life, and I need to be the focus of your life. Isn't that true submission?
No, because, okay, if I'm being honest, okay, I would just say my mother and my dad, they've been together for over 30 years, and her best friend is a man. And I asked my dad, have you ever had a problem with their friendship? And my dad told me no. He said, why would I have a problem with that? I like Julian. Like, there is,
and the thing is that perhaps inside of that dynamic, this was able to work, but the truth is that the chances of fidelity or infidelity significantly decrease if you don't put yourself in a position to commit infidelity, right? So, in other words, if you're a man and you have a job where you're at a strip club or something like this, or you're around tons of promiscuous women, I would say that your chances of infidelity would increase no matter how high your virtue is, because you could just have a moment of weakness, right? You could just fuck up, have a terrible moment of weakness, ruin everything for yourself due to that. And so usually what I see people in successful relationships do is move themselves away from anything that could cause any sort of potential problem for them, because we're only human, right? So if a man were to ask you, like, look, I understand that this guy is an old friend of yours, I get it, right? And I'm not even saying that you would do anything, but as a sign of respect to me, if you truly are submissive and you want me, then it needs to just be me. Doesn't that seem reasonable?
Can you meet all the woman's needs?
No.
I understand what you're
saying. Let us assume for a moment that you can't. Let us assume that you have some failures, that you're not perfect, because nobody is, including you.
Yeah.
Why is it that it's an unreasonable thing to request that if you want to be with me for the rest of your life, I don't ever want to have to worry about you? And you know what? You know how I can always be assured that I never have to worry about you? Because I know that I'm the person you're focusing on.
That
and I know
lazy.
that because you showed me this huge respect by focusing on no other men but me.
So I don't even have sex at all because I don't like being touched unless I'm in a relationship. So there would be no worry about me stepping out. There's no point in me stepping out for what? What's the reason? So for him to think or assume I could possibly step out with Corey, that's dumb. We would have done something within the last 16 years. Nothing has ever happened.
I'm not even disputing any of this. Like you know you far better than I do.
No, I see exactly what you're saying.
You know you far better than me. I'm not even disputing any of that. What I'm saying is, I think what you're doing is you're internalizing from your perspective what I'm saying. Externalize instead and look at it from the man's perspective. From his perspective, not your perspective. You could be correct about all of this. In fact, he could even be wrong. But part of submission is that even if he could be wrong, you follow him anyway. Because the truth is that when you're submitted, he gets almost everything right. And if he's wrong about a couple things, and that's what it takes for you to be in that kind of relationship, isn't that worth it?
Can I say something?
Hang on, let her finish. Hang on, we're almost done. We're almost done with the exchange.
I can't end a 16-year friendship with someone that has been in my life. I just can't do it. Now, if that's the only flaw that you can find in me, then I think I'm doing a pretty damn good job at being a good woman. If that's the only thing.
And listen, I'm not, again, I don't even need to really dispute that, so that I understand though, but think of it from the man's perspective.
Yes.
What he's saying is that you're picking him over your man. No. That's how I know you don't think so. Externalize.
I know, I'm telling you.
Think of it from their perspective.
Yeah,
he's going to think that shit.
Okay.
He's going to think, she's not willing to give me the respect that I'm asking for in this committed relationship and put me first. Why would he waste his time?
He would be put first because he's going to be the one putting babies in me.
Come on, sister.
But you know, I'm going to explain from the assurance standpoint.
Yeah.
The way that he knows that the babies are his is that you're not around other men. that's the evolution, old. So think about it this way: before we had paternity tests, which are new, right? They're new to this century. before we had paternity tests, the best way to assure that your offspring was yours is that your woman was exclusive to you. That's the only way you could know. So it's kind of built into men that if your woman's around a lot of other men, they could be unsure. And so, yeah, that, of course that would cause an insecurity, and that's probably a good insecurity to cause, right?
So me being in the fitness industry and being around a lot of guys that work out, are you telling me that he's going to say, nope, you can't go to any fitness events?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that if it was in a professional setting that, you're working around men or something like this, I think that most men are reasonable when it comes to such a setting. But I think that if you're out hanging out with other men exclusively, doing things with them, maybe you and your friend like to go to movies, or maybe you like to go to his house and hang out, or maybe you like to go do A, B, or C, that I think that it's reasonable for them to see it as a sign of disrespect,
Well, we'd have to have that conversation, because I'd be very open about everything. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. And like I said, I don't have sex at all. Me personally, I know there's a lot of other whores out here that will fuck their friends. I'm not like that. I don't have a roster of guys. I'm dating with intent. I want to get married and have children. And if a guy were to tell me, I don't think you can be friends with Corey anymore, then I guess him and I aren't going to work. Because my dad loves Corey, and my mom, everybody.
Then what you've told me is that your highest value is always going to be Corey.
It's not. It's not. Because if it was, we'd be together.
You got to think of it externally from you. From the man's perspective, your highest value is your best friend. So he's always going to feel like he's second rate to your best friend. And why wouldn't he think that?
I can see that, but that wouldn't be the case.
I know that may not be the truth of the matter. But if it's truly submission, then even when he's wrong, right, or you think he's wrong, that is what submission is. Even when you think he's wrong, you still submit. And that's where I think this disconnect happens constantly between men and women when it comes to submission. They don't really know what that means.
I think the pretext too is maybe like this is an actual leader, someone that we can trust, someone that is worthy of being submissive to. I think if he's not, then
that's the opposite of worthy. No, that's the opposite. Listen, let us assume for a moment you chose him because he had all these leadership skills that you just loved, right? And you married him and you have submitted to him. There might be years where he does things you don't like.
Right.
There might be years where you have a rocky relationship. There might be years where you're working through this in marriage, right? And you disagree with most of his choices. But that's what submission is.
Yeah.
That's what submission in marriage is. It's work, right? It's work. And you don't want to abandon that because you think he's making all the wrong decisions. Because the truth is that you could be making the wrong decisions, right? You don't know. That's what submission means.
So, can I say something? Oh.
-_2_100 donated $200. Red 1, where are you from? What is your relationship status? What do you think of Brian? What would you like to share with the audience today?
She answered all
If you want to give a quick answer to
Hi guys, my name's Dee. My relationship status is single. I think Brian is really cool, really to himself. I don't really know what's going on in his head, but I try to figure it out, and then I try not to offend, and I try to learn. And what I'd like to put in, I'd like to learn, and I'd like to add in whenever I can. And it's hard when you have a panel of girls all talking at the same time, and that's nobody's fault. And I think it's beautiful that we're having, even with him here, Andrew here. Like I love the banter,
it's a good vibration, right?
Yeah.
It's 46.4 hertz going on right
we
now.
go. Look at the numbers.
Vibrations happening. Everybody's happy.
I'm enjoying it, and
if you don't mind though, just real quick, so we can wrap this up before we move it on, Madison, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
Did you ever see that movie Braveheart? Did you ever see that movie? Really? You never saw it?
Too young.
Okay, so
She's too young. Braveheart came out like 30 years ago.
Silence.
Yeah, so what? People
30.
watch classic movies. They still watch
not
great
everybody
movies,
does.
even if it's before their time.
Not everybody does.
So in this movie, essentially a nobleman, in one scene, he ends up having sex with a man's wife on the night of her wedding with him. And he spends the whole rest of the movie seething about it. And this was done without consent, of course. And he spends the rest of the movie seething about it until he gets the opportunity to deal with this nobleman. And when he deals with him, it's very brutal. It's not a good death for the nobleman. Let's put it that way. But if you want that kind of relationship where a man would do that on your behalf, he's not going to want to worry about fucking Corey, right? He's not going to want to worry about Corey. He's not going to want to be thinking about Corey. He's going to want to be thinking only about you and knowing that you're thinking only about him. Okay? That's all I'm saying.
I get you.
All right.
You had a
Where
question,
is Brian? I was just gonna say that, you know how you mentioned we all have that one that kind of got away or whatever. So someone that I was in a relationship with for 2 years, this is when 2015-14, he was really adamant about me not being friends with someone that I was friends with for so long that was a male, and I was so rebellious against it. I was literally saying everything that you're saying, and now I'm like, dude, it's just it's a sacrifice that we're willing to make. That wasn't the only thing that was the deal breaker, but looking back, I'm like, man, he was such a good man. He had great leadership skills. He was loving, but I was just looking at it but I've been with this I've known this guy for so long, we X, Y, and Z, everything you're saying. But looking back, I'm just like, man, that was such a huge thing that I regret. That's one of my regrets in life, is just not submitting to that and letting go, because that could have been someone that I could have had an amazing relationship and marriage with, and
That was feminism poisoning your mind.
No, 100%. It was
It just sounds though that Corey is a little bit of a different situation. He's a brother,
and he can be amazing. He could be amazing.
But this is what
my
women
friend
do,
was
right?
amazing
This is what women
too.
do. They'll listen to this. And when they see another woman faltering, going, you know what, actually, this makes a lot of sense, and it could lead to an inroad to happiness, they sabotage it.
It's self-sabotage.
And they sabotage it as quickly as they possibly can for other women. I don't know why they do this,
but that's the toxic side of that.
It has to do with mate selection.
That's the toxic side. There's also a healthy side where you do need to evaluate, what are my anchor relationships? I would call Corey an anchor relationship, a ride or die. He could be a biological brother. He's a different category than just somebody I've known for 10 years, and he's not adding that much in my life, and I'm going to pick
it's
this
not for you to make
husband.
the determination in a committed
I
relationship.
understand. I'm just simply saying it's not as black and white of an issue as it's trying to be.
I think it is. I think that if on the one hand you say, I want to have a man who's worth submitting to, I think that man is going to be somebody who you consider high virtue. And not only high virtue, but is going to take care of all sorts of problems you don't even see. You don't even want to worry about it. He doesn't want to fucking worry about you either. He doesn't want to worry about shit. He doesn't want to worry about fucking Corey. He doesn't want to worry about your relationship with he doesn't want to worry about shit. And you know how you can give him that great peace of mind? By not doing it. And that's the ultimate sign of respect. And you know that type of man who you show that kind of respect to will do anything.
You know what I think would be?
They'll give you the whole world on a platter.
What if he can make her happy by being best friends with Corey?
Yeah, exactly. Because Andrew, wouldn't you want to be friends with the guy and feel him
happiness. See, this is the disconnect. It's not about her happiness. It's about what is submission. And the cardinal, when we're looking at this, we're looking at what is the dynamic between men and women which works best. What is the dynamic for family that works best? Here's the dynamic in family that works best. Proven over and over and over again. So if you think about tradition, think of it in these terms. Experiments which worked. That's tradition. So here, the family unit of a mom and a dad and children works better than anything else.
But what do you mean by works better? In an economic sense? How does it work better?
All outcomes for the man, woman, and children, if they stay together in an intact family, are universally better than any other single dynamic we've ever seen. Yeah. Universally better the outcome.
Well, just because it's better than the other shit show doesn't mean it's optimal. It still doesn't mean that it's heaven.
Well, hang on. So unless you can give a counter to any family dynamic that works better than the nuclear cross-generational family, then you have no leg to stand on. And so here's what I'm going to do. Tell me a family dynamic which is better than a nuclear or cross-generational family. Just give me one.
I think a more tribal society, to be honest with you, is a better structure, because that way if a man dies, if he goes through a mental break or something and he's no longer stable, that woman has a social structure of brothers, uncles, aunt, whatever, best friends who
They still
just
have that
swoop right
social
in.
structure.
And guess what? Those kids have already gotten used to Uncle Corey and blah blah blah.
They
So
still already have that social structure with the people who matter the most. Their blood.
okay,
Their bloodline.
But
The
guess what?
bloodline
When you
is
have a
way more
woman
likely
like
to
me,
step in and take
I
care of
have
your
no
kids than
blood.
Corey is.
I have no blood men in my life who are healthy by any means. Hence why I've had a stream of not the best relationships, because my dad was
You're proving
abusive.
his point.
The point,
Well,
the
well,
point
actually,
would
you're
be is
making
for
my
a
point
woman
for
like me,
Hang
it
on,
would be
hang on.
more
You're making
safe.
my point for me. You're saying inside of your own life, absent this intact family unit, you had worse outcomes. That's my whole point.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I had an intact family unit with very abusive people.
Which led to...
Well, wait, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to check my notes here. Did you say that your parents are still married?
No, they're not still married. But
And
I
when did they get
came
divorced?
from my biological parents never got married. My mother, when I was 3,
Then
married my
what are you
stepdad.
talking about?
You're proving his point, girl.
You're proving my point.
You said that you
Over and
have
over
had so
again.
many broken relationships or men that were unhealthy, and it's because
you grew up in
your
an
family
unhealthy
structure
home,
was broken as well.
Your family
No, what I'm
structure was
saying
broken.
is I came from as much of a traditional structure as
That's not
you
traditional.
can.
It's
There's
not.
a mom
That's in
and
no
there's
way
a mom.
traditional.
There's a mom. There's a dad.
Well, yeah,
there's
but
two
there's
kids.
biologically there has
That
to be a
love
mom
each
and
other
dad. We're talking about a traditional.
But
Hang on, guys, one at a time,
unconditional
one at a
love
time.
wouldn't
Let her
have
respond.
all these rules of we can't be friends with Corey. That's not unconditional love. I hate
No,
to
no.
break it to you.
Well,
So
hang
we're
on. I
dealing
hate to
with
break
the
it- I hate
best
to
that
break
you're
it
bringing
to
to
you.
the table here.
Hang on, I hate to break it to you, but the truth is that what you've done here is you have demonstrated very well my point, which is from broken homes
In a
come
perfect
broken
world.
minds.
In a perfect world, if a man met all of my needs and he was the most healthy, godly man, and he went to God every moment of every day and made sure that he was fact-checking himself, and he had pastors or leaders or ministers, grandpas who were healthy men, and he was every choice he was gonna make, he went and hashed it out with God and his elders, and then he came and stepped it to me and said, you know what, I know that Corey's your friend, but I'm just getting a little vibe there.
Right,
You know,
so
can
what
we
you're
talk
saying-
about
but
this?
I want you
And
to
then he
understand,
brings the wisdom. It's not just he's coming to
hang on,
her
one
and
point at a
saying,
time.
it's
Hang
not
on, one
just
point
he's
at a
coming and
time, one
saying you
point at a
can't be
time.
friends with him.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, but one
I
point
just
at a
made
time.
it up.
Hang on. Before you go on a diatribe, just like let's do an exchange, a good faith exchange, just kind of one point at a time. The point one that you're talking about here, again, makes my point for me. So you say, listen, me. If a man will do X for me, if also me, and then on top of that, a little bit more me with a sprinkle of me, with a dash of me, with a cherry on top of me, then I will submit.
Well,
That's
at the
not
end of the
submission.
day, I'm
And so
all
what
I
happens
have.
is, hang on, let me finish. So then what happens is you split off from what you consider traditionalism, because that's not traditionalism.
I'm not traditional.
Submission should, yeah, I know, but that's my point again. You're not traditional, and the experiment of your broken family
Listen.
is exactly why you're in the position
I'm
you're in
super
now.
happy that certain people live in a society and a world and a family system where traditional works perfectly fine and it's beautiful. Not all of us come from that blessing.
That's his point.
That's because
And
you're
so, no, but I'm
self-centered.
saying I literally do not live in a safe environment.
Well, it's not going to be safe if the entire environment has to revolve around me.
Well, guess
What
what?
about
Like I
them?
said, I'm a mother. I can't go down. I have had men come in my life and promise me the world. They're going to take care of the kids. They're going to pay the bills. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. Here's a marriage. Here's a ring. Here's a ceremony, blah, blah, blah. And then I get into it. And I agree to all of that. And then shit goes really bad.
But I'm going to tell you the truth, and this is not a fun truth, but it is the truth. I'm a stepfather myself. Okay, I have stepchildren myself. The truth of the matter is is that unless you as a woman, if you have children, especially with another man, and you're asking a man to share his resources, take care of those children, submission becomes 10 times more important. Because what value are you bringing to the table for them? What value do you actually bring to the table for a
I clean,
man?
I fuck really well, I suck dick really well,
That's it.
I get the bills paid, I take care of the kids.
Anybody can do that.
No, that's not true. I'm out here
Yeah,
in
it
the.
is true.
I'm out
Do you
here
think
as
that do you think that women with no children
can do
can't
that
fuck
way better
good, or
than you
what?
probably.
No,
You
honey,
think that
trust
women
me. I
without
teach the
children are
girls how to do it.
incapable of
I'm
having
a.
sex? Listen, do you think that it's really that difficult to satiate a man's sexual needs?
But
'Cause
guess
for the
what?
most
A lot
part,
of these women
they-
have so many traumas, they can't even get there. They're scared of dicks. I'm talking real talk here. I'm out in the field.
You don't believe your trauma? You have trauma?
I have had to heal through massive amounts of trauma.
But like even right now, you said like all I have is myself. When he was saying like me,
But
me.
that is
But hold
true.
on. But that is because you feel like all you have is yourself because you didn't have a mom and you didn't have that structure, you didn't have that support.
But
so you
guess
can't even
what?
you can't even hold on. You can't even accept a husband to help you carry the burden.
That's not true.
However, I've had my parents are married 50 years and they're happy. They have more sex than anyone I know.
I love that. Amen.
And I feel the same way
as me. So, exactly, because we live in a particular society. Some of us just don't fit these cookie cutter molds of how it's supposed to go.
As long as you two are both happy and you both can make the relationship work the way you want it to
They
work.
don't work though. So here's the stats on polyamorous
parents make it work,
relationships.
and they're pretty happy.
95% of them fail. 95%.
How
of
many
poly
monogamous
relationships
relationships
fail.
do you think
95.
are actually very happy? Just because people stay together, which is only what 1 and 2 stay
Not
together.
about happiness. You
How
have
many
children.
are happy?
What about
It's
them?
not even about happiness. To
It's
be
the
quite honest
sacrifice
with
and
you.
the commitment.
Yeah. If you, especially if you made it under
What
God,
about
it doesn't
your
matter. If you
children?
have
I've been through fucking hell, and at this point, I'm just here to have a good time.
So see, but you say that now, but when you're 80, and maybe I'm not gonna say you, but a lot of people that think like you, they're gonna be 80 and alone, and they're gonna.
That's not true. They're
It
gonna
is
have
true.
their
My mom
kids there.
sees it
Their
all the
best
time.
statistics are
No.
there.
Yeah.
Friend with benefits. They might have a spouse. They might have 2 spouses. You guys are.
I know,
this
but
is-
you're saying that because your
relationships
mind is
can't
saying
be
of all this
fit. Relationships
realities, but
cannot
that's
be
not the
fit into
reality.
Hang on, guys, one at a time. Hang on. Let her give her point to the
You
gal in the
guys,
center.
this
Go ahead
is
first.
one Western
Hang on, not you. You're not the gal in the
religious
center.
way
The
of
gal in the
looking
center. Let her give her point. You can respond. I promise. Go ahead.
No, all I'm saying is that you can think of all these realities in your head, like, oh, well, that could happen, but that's not reality of what really happens.
Do you
if you're
know
looking
how
at
we were
it.
designed?
Let her finish her point. Hang on. Go ahead.
Keep going. Just go.
Okay, sorry.
Speak.
All right, so yeah, so you're saying all these things, but the reality is, even like if you look at the statistics, feminists that are they're alone and they're on medications, antidepressants, like they hate.
There's so many fucking variables that go into this. You can't say it's because
I'm
of
not
this one
saying
thing.
it's just
go look at
because.
other societies
But
that aren't running
hold
this
on, can I finish my point, though?
colonialization.
What is 2 + 2?
Yeah, let's start there, because
No,
if we're not at that same
On an
framework,
atomic level.
Answer what is 2
Why,
+ 2?
like 2 + 2 what?
In math.
But 2 + 2 add up.
Arithmetic.
But are we talking
Algebra.
2 + just like
Calculus.
like a piece of paper with the number representation of a 2?
Okay, look at
You're-
this.
you're
Just
in-
like
you're-
how
I
how
added
many
up
cups?
your age earlier.
1 + 1
it's
is
math.
2 cups. There we go.
Great job.
Cups.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm ready for the queries. What do you guys got?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, first, I would like to say that I was not invoking the myth of the noble savage. I am quite aware that some indigenous tribes of the Americas were, in fact, quite brutal. And this, in fact, kind of ties into the point that I made, that when you employ the force doctrine, you will always be subject to it yourself at some point. The sacking of...
We agree, but we agree.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. I agree with you 100% that all people are subject to force doctrine, that is a descriptor for how the world works, including me, including you, including Marte, including Sarah, including everybody.
Can I make sure we get one element of this correct? You say that is how the world works. In your mind, is that how the world works in different to any kind of human autonomy or ability to make our own decisions? In other words, are we able to evolve beyond that reality, or is it your assessment
What
that
you're
we are
talking,
that is just a fact of nature?
I'll answer your
and
question. What you're talking about is the idea of what is socially constructed versus what is material reality. When I ask you, sir, what is a right, what is it?
It's going to depend very much on the definition.
Yes, I'm asking for your definition. What's a right?
What is a right to me?
Yeah.
My rights begin where yours end.
Yeah, that doesn't tell me what a right is. It tells me the application you would use for what a right is. What is a right?
It does. A right is basically applied evenly across all people, or it is not an equal right.
That doesn't tell me what a right is. What is a right?
A right is something that you have a right to.
Wait, I'm sorry.
As a human being,
you're
as
using
a
the word,
value.
dude. You're using the word to describe the word. If I asked you what a man is, and you said a man is somebody who's a man, would that
Why
give
are
me
we getting
any?
bogged down with semantics? I don't see how this is relevant.
Okay,
To the discussion.
do you understand that?
I
Hang
thought
on,
we were
hang
talking
on.
about
I'm sorry.
taking land by
I'm
force.
sorry. Did he bring up rights? If he brings up rights, I have every business. It's my business to ask him what he means by a right. And if he says what I mean by a right is anything I consider to be a right,
Andrew,
then that's important for the debate.
Why do you have a right to?
Don't ask me a question, answer it. What is a right?
I can ask a question.
You can after you answer mine. What is a right? What is a
I think
right?
it would be helpful in terms of the debate, because we are talking about taking property per se. It is valuable to
Which you
have
think
the
you have a right
definition,
to. You think you have a
which
right
I
to
think
property. That's why I want to know what a right is. What is a right? What is it, dude?
You are owed it on the basis of your humanity.
You're owed what?
Proper treatment of some kind.
What does that mean, though? Do you see what I mean? Like, that doesn't tell us what it
God,
is.
it's society dependent, dude.
a right to
it's things that we are guaranteed.
You're okay. I understand you may have a right to exist. You may have a right to have an abortion. You may have a right to all sorts of things. That doesn't tell me what a right is, though. What is a right
why
itself?
Don't you tell us, Andrew?
Why do I need to tell you what your definition of a thing is, Chuck?
Because you're complaining.
Let me ask.
I need to know. Okay, listen, Chuck. Listen, Chuck. I'm trying to work with Chuck. I'm trying to work with you, Chuck.
Just a second. Christopher and Charlie, would you be agreeable that you think a right is a social construct of some sort?
Yeah.
What is it?
Okay, let's start there.
What the fuck is it? When you say right, what does that mean?
Oxford Dictionary.
I'm gonna guess it means a different.
You can't. I don't care what you look up. You could take your time and look up what you think a right is. Just tell us what a right is, so at least we're on the same page.
I mean, I told you, it's something that you are owed on the basis of your humanity.
That doesn't tell us what a right is.
Yeah, it doesn't. It just.
Well, because it is a social construct. So
yeah.
It is. It's a very influx thing. It depends on where you are.
So you have a right to not be stolen from, but it's very influx and subjective, and we're not really sure about it. Is that right?
So it's conditional, made up.
So it's conditional. We just made it up.
It can depend on the country that you're in, but it is.
Yes. So then theft itself is a social construct.
I mean, everything's a social construct.
Wait. No. I'm sorry. Is a tree a social construct?
The word tree is. All right.
Is a tree a social construct, not the word tree?
A tree.
Yeah. Is a tree a social construct?
Why are we talking about trees?
Because you just said everything is a social construct. Is that an accurate statement, or did you just make that up?
No,
too?
I see you do this. I watch some of your debates, and you do this all the time. You don't actually address discussion. You bog people down on semantics.
What I do, here's what I do. What I do is go after the pillar. Yeah, I'm going after the pillar of your view.
Which is, no, you're not. You are arguing semantics.
I'll tell you what.
You don't want to make an actual argument.
I'll tell you what.
What is your argument?
I'll tell you what. Go ahead and tell me the thing that you want to get to, and I'll show you how the pillar of what we're talking about is semantically based. Go ahead. Whatever it is.
Pillar of the argument, like what we're in?
I guarantee it. You're concerned, you're upset, you think that white people stole all the Indians' land. That's your big contention, right? But you have no concept of what theft is, so why shouldn't I go after the pillar of that? Why shouldn't I go after the pillar of that if you have no concept of what a right or theft even is? Why should I listen to a words you have to say, Chuck? Can you explain it to me, Chuck? Use really small words.
Do you not know what the definition?
I don't know what your definition of the word theft is because you just said it's a social construct.
Are you a moron?
Oh, geez, Chuck, you really got me with that.
Dictionary? Like, I don't understand, dude.
You just said that theft is a social.
Definitions, dude.
Chuck,
this is not debating, man. This is not debating.
So Chuck, what you just said.
For just a moment,
Chuck, what you just.
I'm not interested in this. I'm not interested in this.
Then run, Chuck. Then run away. Rage quit, Chuck.
If you don't mind, thank you. Okay, I do find it very vital in order to get to a foundation. If we disagree on what a word means, then we're not going to be able to have the topic or the argument at hand anyways. So I do find it.
So here, look, I'll just make this super clear, crystal clear. I'll give you my position. I'll give you my position so that you can attack my position. My position is this. You just got done saying to me, Andrew, theft is a social construction. Everything's a social construct. Rights are social constructs. Theft is social constructs. All of that is socially constructed and societally dependent. So how could you make a claim that even if white people came here and put every Indian to the sword because they thought it was really fun, they took their kids up and they chopped their heads off for fun. They made them into little Indian shish kebab. They were like, they shish kebabbed up all the Indian kids. How could you even say that's immoral, Chuck? If it's just culturally dependent and just up to the culture, what the fuck is actually immoral about it, Charles? What?
Because we have to live together.
Oh, because we have to live. We don't have to live together, Charles. Chuck, do we have to live together?
Kill each other. We could all die.
We don't have to even kill each other.
Stupid.
We don't. Not only do we not have to kill each other.
For our species to survive and to function,
our species can survive fine without living with each other. Yeah. Why does our species
conditions? Conditional all the way through. No standard. No base. No grounding. Nothing. This is crazy.
Yeah, you just said.
The question that I have, given what you've just said, which was addressed in my opening statement, and I'd like to get to it because I think this is actually vital to the point, is your argument that because the European settlers found it necessary to eliminate the Native Americans in order to claim their land because they felt threatened by certain tribes, that at that point in time it was not immoral?
No, of course not. So I have a universal concept of morality. But the problem here is, like, we're starting off the query with an internal critique. I think it's fine for you to internally critique what we think as well. But as we start the query for the internal critique, I don't understand this view where you claim, you and Chuck, that these are social constructions, rights are completely fictitious and made up, and theft is completely fictitious and made up, and yet somehow we're supposed to apply this standard to what happened with the natives. Tell me why we should do that if it's all just made up, dude.
What do you mean made up?
Because it's how
you made it up out of your what? Okay, so this is why. This is okay. Hang on. You see how you said
social contract?
Hang on. Do you see why you just said? Hang on. Let me answer his question, Chuck. Let me answer his question. So he asked a question. It's a good query. What do you mean by made up? You see how you're asking for semantics? That's smart, right? What I mean by made up is that from your view, rights. Completely fictitious. They come out of your mind. You make them up out of thin air. They're a product purely of the mind. They exist nowhere in material reality. So, like, let me ask you this. Can you touch a right? Can you taste it? Can you smell it? Can you see it? Where is it? Show me a right. Show me one. Can either of you do that?
It is a concept that we have come up with.
It is a concept.
We all agree upon.
Do we all agree upon them? Like, do you agree upon the concept that I have a right to own a RPG?
God, I don't think that we have that right.
I know. So we don't agree on the concepts then, I guess, do we? It's almost like we have like a semantic argument here that we need to get through because like we totally like don't agree on what rights are.
Listen to me. I believe that we have social contracts that we adhere to because we want to survive as a species. And we understand that the survival of our species is good. It is good for us to be alive. And
I understand. I can grant that.
Harmony with each other. Correct. Like I don't like bad things to happen. I think, right? We all agree. We like.
Okay. if it is the case then that you believe in social contracts, what's wrong with having a social contract of might makes right?
Because it is not conducive to the survival of our species.
How is it not conducive to the survival of our species? It seems like it would be just fine to live under an empire. It seems like it would be just fine to live under these things. It seems like we would survive just fine. Why wouldn't we survive under empires? We've survived traditionally under empires. What are you talking about? Tell me why is it that
Charlie's making?
Hang on.
Andrew,
Let me finish the query. Let me finish the
well.
question. Why is it that if you had a social contract, then you believe in social contracts, we had a social contract for might makes right, that would somehow be bad? You love social contracts. Why would that be bad?
I'm sorry, restate that.
Why would it be bad to have a social contract of might makes right?
How would that be the same as being good to each other and ensuring the survival?
Why would that mean bad?
Right.
Yeah, when you say good is also the product of the mind, right?
Of course, yes, but we are talking about.
So then, what's the issue here?
Theft of land, which requires the displacement or the death of its original occupants.
Oh.
So when we discuss the colonization of America, we are talking about 1500s. We have about 5 to 10 million. Sometimes they will estimate 55 million.
Who mostly died of disease.
Mostly died of disease, yes, that the Europeans brought, which wasn't intentional,
so
but
what?
Was indeed a product.
Yeah, so what? That's like everything. Yeah. But let me ask you this, Chuck. If it is the case, lady and gentlemen, if it is the case that the Europeans came in here and they wanted to make a shish kebab out of all the little Indian children, what violates the social contract here that you're talking about? What social contract did the Europeans have with the Indians?
Because when you make shish kebabs of people's children, they will do that to yours, which has happened historically.
Did they do it to us, or did we just conquer all their shit and take it all?
No, they did definitely scalp like women and children. They did.
Oh, so then they weren't there.
Actually, I have some examples.
So we were defending ourselves?
So during the no, these were retaliatory.
No,
many people thought they were defending.
Oh, so you can retaliate. I didn't know that. You could retaliate?
I think in self-defense, yes. I believe in self-defense, certainly.
So if you have
the Jamestown massacre,
great. This is great.
If you created
the Powhatan tribes killed approximately 400 settlers, including women and children. The Hutchinson massacre of 1643 in New York, Anne Hutchinson and her children were tortured and scalped before they were. That was a Christian woman living alone with her children. The Pueblo Revolt of 1680 in New Mexico. Wow, that's something. 400 Spanish settlers killed, including women.
Well, I mean, they killed a woman and her children. You don't think that that's savage?
I mean, you should read about what we did to the Native Americans.
Does that mean that you can kill innocent people?
What I'm saying is that if you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
I see.
As a man, here, listen.
I see. That sounds an awful lot like might makes right, lady. Sounds an awful lot like might makes right.
You like semantics and you like to define words.
I am disagreeing with the application of the force doctrine. I am disagreeing with the application of the force doctrine.
Okay.
I don't think it is
all you're doing is proving the application of the force doctrine. All you're doing is proving it.
Marte, did you want to jump in?
I was going to let Colt say something. What were you going to say, sir?
Yeah, no, I'm curious because Andrew previously wanted to know what a right is. I would like to know what Andrew's definition of right
it's an entitlement absent duty is what I would consider a right to be.
No, I mean, what would you consider? You keep using the phrase "might makes right."
No. You use the phrase.
Not defending that, but I want to know what.
No, I'm not defending it. I'm showing you via an internal critique why when you said the words "might make right,"
I never said that.
You did in your opening statement.
No.
That's what you said in your opening statement.
Said actually, if you listened to my opening statement more closely, you would understand that I was saying that that's not the argument you're making. Do you want me to reread that part again?
Yes.
Let me find it. Hold on just a second.
Find the first time you mentioned it, though, not the second.
Hold on. I gotta do this.
You guys think I do this awesome thing where I take notes the entire time you guys are talking, so I make sure I don't mischaracterize what you're saying.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you take accurate notes.
That's true, but we're going to find out in a second when you pull it up, and we're going to find out that I am accurate and that you said my opponents believe in might makes right. You'll see for yourself, and then I'll be vindicated, and you're going to have to say that you're sorry. Are you gonna say you're sorry after you read it out?
The point that was made in the opening
not gonna say
statement
sorry.
is
Not
that
gonna say
you're
sorry.
veiling that. You're saying that's not what you're saying, but it is actually at the root of everything that you're about.
No, I'm giving
Because
you a
what
descriptor.
you're saying is, if I have a bigger gun than you, or bigger muscles than you, or a better army than you, that if I take your stuff, as we look at it in the past, we can't make an argument that that was wrong, because I was simply using the ability that I had to take what I felt that I
tell me
needed
why
in
it's
the moment.
wrong.
That's what we're here to discuss.
Yeah, tell me why. That's what I'm asking you. Why is it wrong, bro?
Let's start
the
there.
survival of our species. It's not
How is it not conducive to
of
the
our
survival of our species?
So the
to
question
fucking
that I
kill
want to
and murder
know.
each other. It doesn't end
Exactly.
First of all, it is indeed conducive to the survival of our species to kill and tell me descriptively how we ended up with less people via the Native Americans. Can you explain that to me? How did we end up with less? It seems to me from the historic standard, how many people were alive then versus now?
You're getting a far afield. I want to stick to the point that we're talking
I don't
about.
think so.
It's
Her
not-
claim is
it's not
it's
beneficial.
conducive. How was it not beneficial? Seems like it was totally beneficial. What was unbeneficial about it?
The death of the millions, the
Yeah.
destruction of cultures,
And
languages.
what was
I
not
think it's
beneficial
horrible.
about that? You ended up having an entire land seized, which was rich in resource, led to a massive population boom, led to the strongest military on earth, led to even global peace. You could make the argument it led to global peace. So tell me, lady, how is it not conducive to humans? Even if it is the case, I grant this entire thing, that we went and we just shish kebabbed up the Indians because it was the funniest, funny thing we could ever think of doing. Tell me how that wasn't conducive to humans flourishing, because it seems like we flourished fine. Explain it.
Using what? We could get into that if you want.
This conversation with you. I also think that we could argue that it led to the invention of the nuclear bomb in some capacity, which could be the death of us all, frankly. So I'm not sure if us developing weapons capable of wiping all of us out. I think that that's actually kind of worse.
Wait, you mean a nuclear armistice where every country now has the ability to obliterate each other and none of them do because if they did, there would be nuclear retaliation, which has led to the most global stability we've ever fucking seen. How is that? Again, I'm not even making the claim here all countries having nukes is good. I'm not even making the claim having nukes is good. I'm only making the counterclaim to you that this is somehow not conducive to human flourishing. Prove it. Prove it.
Nuclear weapons? I mean,
Yeah,
I would
prove
say
it.
that there is a pretty significant conflict in.
Do we bomb? Okay, should we have not nuked the Japanese?
No, we should not.
No.
The war was almost
That's horrible.
over.
Can you look up what the estimates would have been of the deaths had we not nuked the Japanese?
Actually, we could have conceded on the whole emperor being a divine individual thing, and the Japanese would have taken our deals. So that's kind of up in the air. People
Wait
are
a
not
second.
really
Wait a second. I'm
certain
sorry.
on
You
it.
said earlier, and I got the note here, retaliatory fighting is fine because it's self-defense. Did the Japanese attack us at Pearl Harbor?
I think that at that point we had retaliated in a proportionate manner. Thus far.
Oh, so what you really mean
There's
is you should only be
proportionality.
able to respond in a proportional manner.
Yes, Andrew. So if you piss me off,
Mm-hmm.
it would be insane if I were to show up to your house and torch it. Right? That would be crazy. That would be a lot. Right? Just because you annoy me. If I
Yeah,
burned
but
your
why
house
would
down,
that be a
that'd
lot?
Crazy.
Why would that be a lot, though?
Because it is not equal to the insult that you dealt me.
So if it is the case, then, that I'm fighting with a man who is weaker than myself, but he punches me first, I should only use an equal amount of force to stop that threat?
Yes.
So if
When
it is the case...
when my younger siblings have hit me before,
Mhm.
I have not. I'm 10 years older than my younger sister and 6 years older than my baby brother. There was a point in time where I was larger than my little brother.
Okay.
When they kicked me or punched me, I didn't use all of my power to break their noses, even though I
see.
could have.
So if
Because
somebody
I
breaks...
understand that if someone is physically weaker than
Uh-huh.
me, it is not appropriate to use all
So
of
then,
my
by
power
this
to
logic,
decimate
if
them.
somebody broke into your house and made the stated
Mhm.
declaration that they're only there to take your stuff but won't hurt you, you should not be able to retaliate with physical violence, correct?
I mean, they're on your property. So
wait a
it's kind of
second.
threat
Wait a second. It has to be proportional, though, remember? So if a person shows up to your house and says, I'm just here to take all your stuff, but I'm not going to hurt you, the only proportional thing you could do back would be to take their stuff, right?
No, it's not about doing the exact same thing.
Oh, it's not. So what does proportional mean then?
Like within the same range.
What does that mean, though? What does that mean? If a person's walking out with my TV and I blast his ass, is that permitted?
I mean, depends on the state you're in. But personally, for
No,
me,
I'm asking
how
you.
I would handle that.
Yeah.
I would probably shoot him in the leg or something. I don't know.
Oh, so you think you would shoot him in the femoral artery?
No, not the thigh. The leg.
I'm sorry, is the thigh part of the leg?
Well, hang on. What is the greatest deterrent to somebody coming onto your property and robbing you?
A massive shotgun?
No.
Yes.
It is a well-lit property.
No.
Well-locked door.
Nope.
No, actually, statistically, yeah, that is true.
Actually, no.
Go look that up. You can look at
Not only can
law enforcement source, they will tell you the greatest deterrent against
Bro,
crime
I taught
is to
listen.
make sure the
I've taught
criminals feel
CPL
cool when they
classes.
walk on you.
I've taught CPL classes my whole life.
I was a journalist. I've talked to a
Yeah,
million police officers.
let me tell you
about
what the
this.
biggest
I've covered
deterrent.
multiple break-ins.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna
Well,
tell
then
you
let
what
me
they
ask you a
told me.
question. How come Black Lives Matter didn't riot in the fucking countryside, even though there was massive populations in the countryside? How come they didn't do it in conservative states? Why?
You know who did riot?
Who?
For the most part?
Who?
Anarchists.
Okay, why didn't they riot where there was red states with real
Because
loose
most
gun
of them
laws?
Are angry kids who live in urban areas.
Tell me.
And ride the bus everywhere.
It's due to the where the populations where the populations are that are being targeted by police. So the majority of Black Americans do not live in the rural countryside.
Except in Mississippi?
I'm not familiar with Mississippi.
You're not familiar with the largest population of Black people, which is Mississippi?
I am from California, and the rural countryside towns that had mostly white and Latino people living in them.
I'm sorry, was BLM a national movement? BLM was a national
talking about
movement.
where the fuck I lived, buddy.
That's great.
What I'm saying is,
and does California, hang on,
people do
this
not
is great.
feel persecuted by
Does
police.
California
They
have
right.
highly restrictive gun laws?
They do actually, yes.
How come then in the great state of, for instance, of Arkansas, did you not see a bunch of BLM people
Actually,
move
California
in?
has the most gun deaths in the country.
Yes, that's because there's a massive minority population there who kills each other with guns, mostly handguns.
Yes, so we have guns.
No, it has nothing to do with the guns. It's not the guns, lady. It's not the guns. Hey, hang on. Help me out.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Help me out here. Can you just help me out here?
Why the fuck are we talking about
All right.
BLM?
Because you brought it up.
Dumbass hypotheticals, and we're not talking.
Oh, it's a dumbass hypothetical.
Oh, you're
part of we all agreed about that. Andrew, would you agree to a question?
Yeah, I'll take any questions you have, but you got to actually let me answer them like I've been willing to do for you.
Can you define property?
Yeah, so I actually think I did this in my opening, but I'll do it again. So I would consider property to be a declaration of possession plus the force to back up the possession.
So if you saw a piece of property that you wanted, you could take it by force, and that would be okay?
That doesn't logically follow.
That is what you outlined there.
No, it's not.
You didn't outline an exchange of
okay, listen.
money.
I'll explain. I'll show you.
It's things that you have that you can.
Hang on. I'll prove it. I'll prove my point for you so that you understand exactly what I mean. The headphones that are on your ears, do you own them?
Yeah.
Yes.
What gives you ownership of them?
I have a receipt.
So you have a declaration that you own them?
Yeah.
Okay. And then if somebody tried to steal them, would you be willing to apply force or the force of the state in order to stop them from taking those headphones from you, which you've made the declaration you own?
I think so.
Depends.
Okay, well then,
but
you and I have now decided that what ownership means is declaration plus force. Anything else?
Let's get us back to our original question.
Which is?
Did the Native Americans own the land they were on?
This is a great question because according to your debate partner, the Native Americans had no ideals of land ownership. So how is it that if you have a social...
let me correct my quote there.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and correct it. But read the whole thing.
land ownership quotes is not a universal concept.
Can you read it? Can you read it again?
Sure. Because we'll be discussing colonization, it is important to clarify that land ownership is not a universal concept. The indigenous peoples of the Americas do not have the same structures as European settlers. So when we talk about who has the right to specific tracts of land and why, my conception of land rights can be summed up by Article 26 of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People.
So you're going to appeal to
Indigenous
Europeans?
peoples have the right to lands, territories, and resources which they have traditionally owned, occupied, or otherwise used and acquired, and that is typically.
So you're going to appeal to what Europeans decide land ownership is, even though the natives themselves had no concept of what land ownership was by your own metric.
They do now.
Oh, but they do now.
They
so
do now,
we
but
oh, they do now.
The European framework.
But
dude.
wait,
what
didn't
do you mean? We killed them, most of them, and now they are forced to operate under a European framework. That is
okay,
what we have now.
so
This is
then,
what we have.
so I just want
to
to hang on. I'm willing to grant all of your arguments to show you how absurd they are. You want to appeal to a United Nations European standard for what land ownership means, right?
Sure, I'm telling you that.
So you would take the sovereignty away from the original natives who were there, who did not agree that that's what land ownership meant, right?
What are you referencing?
Did original natives, by your own opening statement, right, did they understand the concept of land ownership or not?
Yeah, obviously they had territories that were, yes, indeed fought over.
Oh, wait.
Well,
okay, hang on.
It's the same principle. The issue here is
it's the same principle?
Yes.
Then how come you're not appealing to like the Apache version of land ownership, but you're appealing to the UN European version of land ownership?
We killed most of them. Like, I don't know what you mean.
So they don't. So because there's so few of them, they can't figure out what land ownership means.
No, it's because we're working in a different context now.
It's because you're appealing to European ideals of ownership, not to Native American ideals of ownership, and you haven't even justified.
But
here's what you haven't even justified why we should appeal to those.
What the indigenous idea of land ownership?
Okay, but then tell me how. Tell me how. Tell me how it follows.
Essentially, if you work the land, it's yours.
Says who? Which Native American said this? So I can look up his quotes.
It was actually John Locke.
American?
Oh, so John Locke is an Indian? John Locke, famous European philosopher John Locke. Wow, man, you really got me with that one.
Buddy, we could go over every single tribe and how they defined land ownership.
Well, if I'm buddy, you're madame, and madame. Let's go over each one.
What I mean, do you think that like ancient man had no concept? Like, do you think that like it wasn't until like the fucking Renaissance that we understood like that if you live in a place,
finally we're there.
You're meant to live there.
We're finally there. So how did ancient man identify ownership of a thing, do you think?
By working it, by living on it.
And what would happen if somebody came around who they didn't want to take their shit? What do you think ancient man did to them?
They would fight and kill each
other. Oh, they'd
My
fucking
point
kill
is-
him! Yes, they would
Listen,
fucking kill him!
I need
Yes!
you to listen to me.
Holy
with your ears.
shit!
I need
This
you
is
to listen to me
amazing.
with your ears and thoughts. My
I'm
argument
listening
is not
very
that the Force
closely.
doctrine does not exist.
Mm.
My point was that it is not good, and we should.
Oh,
not
it's not. It doesn't.
And in addition, when you apply the Force doctrine, you will be retaliated against. I would also like to point out.
So
that
more Force doctrine.
not good.
Yeah, and it's a never-ending cycle, and it's bad. That was my opening point. Did you not listen to
hang
me?
on. So I want to make sure we got it right, and I want to make sure that you remember when I asked your debate partner, sir, will you concede that our view of Force doctrine is what? What is it, sir?
Archaic.
What is it?
Your view of Force doctrine is that men are stronger, and so they must be the ones to allow.
I didn't say any of that. I just
equality.
said that men are the grantors of rights, right?
And who made them that way?
Men.
Right. Nature made them that way, right? Why? Why are men stronger?
You mean fundamentally?
Why did nature make men stronger?
Well, I mean, who knows?
Was it to conquer women?
Again,
Is that the purpose of our big muscle?
Why? I don't understand why you're asking me the purpose of the thing, which descriptively you agree is true.
No, I'm asking you biologically, evolutionarily.
How the fuck would I know?
Are men,
I'm sorry. Am I
You
responsible
could- you
for
could
fucking
speculate.
evolution?
Just
am I responsible for evolution? Like,
you can talk about evolution. In fact,
did I use the machinations of Andrew Wilson's great psyche to figure out evolution?
You might be darn close to figuring something out here.
Yeah, so
why are men bigger? Why in general in nature
from an evolutionary view? Okay, I'll explain.
Stronger?
I'll explain the best I can from an evolutionary view. From an evolutionary view, we're looking at survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest is going to be if it is the case that you have a species which is engaging with its environment and this and that, and it doesn't make it, right? It is sourced out, right? It's gone. You agree with that? That's what survival of the fittest is?
Why didn't women develop strength then?
Because they have the ability to rear children, which gives them a different physiological makeup, right?
Maybe.
Not maybe.
There is nothing in nature that says females can't be bigger and stronger. Female hyenas
yes,
are bigger
there
and
is.
stronger than male ones.
Yes, there is. There's lots of things inside of nature which determine that Homo sapien males are going to be bigger and stronger than females who have the reproductive organs. And here's why.
Reproductive organs matter.
I'll explain.
There are women
you have to have
who can kick your ass.
Bro, I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain. So here's the thing. If we're looking at the physiology between men and women, you agree with me that women can give childbirth and men can't?
Biologically, yeah.
Yeah. Does that require things like a uterus? Does that require ovaries? Does that require menstruation cycles? Does that require all sorts of things with which physiologically are going to create a distinct makeup?
Yeah, again, you're describing things as they are. I'm asking you,
bro.
why
I'm
they are
asking you.
designed that way.
Hang on. I just want to make sure we agree on this. Do you agree with me that that's going to require distinct physiology, physical characteristics which are different from that of males who cannot do those tasks?
Yeah, but
so if that's a requirement of that, then it would follow that if it was natural selection and we were following evolution, which is a gradual change over a species over hundreds of millions of years, that men and women who are the same species developed separately based on skill sets, one for the purposes of rearing children and one for the purposes of protecting those who rear children. Yeah.
Protecting. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. That's why they're bigger, right? Not to subjugate, to protect.
Yeah, but here's the problem with this, right? Can you protect people by subjugating them?
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
yes.
You can protect your people. No, before you do before you do the gotcha, let me give you the other side of that. All right. Are you ready?
Give me the other side. I can't wait to hear it. Yeah, sure.
So the other side of that is that you might be able to protect your people by subjugating other people. That doesn't necessarily
Can you protect your people by subjugating your own people?
In other words,
we're not talking about morality.
Let me finish. If I were an early European settler and I came to the United States,
this has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Let's stick with what we're talking about.
Did they have other options? Did they have places they could go to?
Oh my God, this is such a gish gallop. This means nothing. Answer my fucking question. Can people protect? No, I want an answer to my question. You shut the fuck up, lady. I want to know. I want to know the answer. Answer the fucking question first. Answer the question first.
Getting anywhere if everybody's going to yell over each other.
I want to know the answer to my question, and then he can make his point. Is it the case, sir, or not, that you can subjugate a group of people and protect them through subjugation? Is that true or not?
Hang on.
Answer the fucking question and then ask yours.
He's answering the question.
I can't
shut the hell up.
I'm going to go get a drink while you never answer this question.
Go get a drink.
So you're running away.
He's not
by getting a drink?
He can rewatch it later and learn.
That's running away, getting a drink?
Hey,
so if you go to the bathroom, that's running away?
Maybe if he leaves, we can take a moment to educate the audience.
I'm actively discussing.
Ask everyone kindly. I love the entertainment factor, but it's getting to the point where I can't understand what the fuck any of you are saying. If we could just take a step back, calm down a little bit, we'll get through the questions one at a time. If we could be mindful of each other and respectful. Thank you.
Just answer the question and then ask your question. And I'll do the same for you.
Answering the question.
Yeah, okay. Can you answer it then? Can you subjugate a group of people and protect them at the same time through subjugation? Yes or no?
What is the prompt for this debate?
The prompt right now is whether or not it's immoral to take land by force.
So if I take land by force because I think that...
you still haven't answered my question. You just evaded.
I subjugate other people because in my mind...
Oh my God, this guy. You can't. You're incapable of answering questions.
Hold on, Andrew.
Okay, then I'll tell you what. I'm going to not say a word, but I'm just going to come right back to this. I'm not going to let you evade, and I'm going to make you answer this fucking question. So you might as well just answer it now. Can you subjugate people and protect them through subjugation or not?
The prompt is whether that would
not answering the fucking question, dude.
The prompt that we're debating, and you said you were going to be quiet and let me finish. So let's see how you do. The debate that we are having is whether such an action is moral or immoral. So yes, I would concede the point that you can absolutely protect your people through subjugation. The question then becomes, is that moral? If you had another alternative where you could go elsewhere and not kill, maim, destroy, and steal, wouldn't that be the more moral?
You haven't, well, hang on. You haven't actually shown us yet how subjugation requires theft, stealing, and any of this.
You define subjugation then. How would you go about it?
Well, no, it's your claim. I don't need to define your fucking
You
claim,
asked
dude.
the question. Can
Yeah,
you...
I asked you the question. I don't define your answer for you, dude.
Then you're saying that the answer I gave doesn't satisfy the question you
No,
asked.
I'm saying I'm just asking for the answer. Demonstrate for me that subjugation requires theft or any immorality at all. Demonstrate it.
You need to define subjugation.
No, by your definition.
You need to define it. You have.
Why would I need to define your
Because
fucking view,
otherwise
dude?
I don't know what the hell you're asking.
You don't know what I'm asking when I ask you about your view?
If subjugation is to come in and just chop everybody's heads off and put them on pikes outside the town.
Yeah, that would be bad. Can you show why that's a necessary condition of subjugation?
Put them on a train and take them to a gas chamber somewhere.
Okay. All right. Right now, do you have to follow the laws of this nation?
Ideally, yeah.
Is that subjugation?
How much longer that's
Is that subjugation?
In what way?
Whatever way you consider subjugation to be. Is that subjugation?
It is subjugation in an attempt to stop people from harming others.
So yes, it's subjugation. So, and would you agree with the Greeks when the Greeks said without law there can be no freedom?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So then what you're admitting there is that you can subjugate an entire group of people for their own protection. That's good.
No, you didn't ask that question. You said, "Can you?"
I didn't need to ask the question. It's an entailment of your own logic, dude. That's an entailment of your logic. How am I changing the question?
Because the original question was, can you protect your people by subjugating another group of people?
And you said yes.
Certainly you can. But the
okay, then great.
We're asking
that's the end of that. Then
moral.
Yeah. Okay.
In other words, you can.
Okay.
Should you?
Here, let's find out if this is true. We'll just do a logic test. Is taxation theft?
It can be.
Yeah. Is it?
Not definitionally.
Why?
Because generally you're getting something for that money.
What if you don't want it?
Clean water, you're getting clean air.
Yeah, what if you don't want it though? What if you don't want any of that and you want to keep your stuff and they tax it anyway? Is that theft?
You don't have to pay your taxes.
You do have to, or what happens if you don't?
You might lose your property.
And do you agree with that law?
I think.
All right, let him answer. Let him answer, lady. Let him answer, lady. Let him answer, lady. Let him answer, lady. Let him answer. Answer the question.
That's going to be a nuanced response.
Can you answer the question? If you don't pay your property taxes, should you default on the property or not, sir?
By law, yeah.
Do you believe that that's moral?
I believe that in certain circumstances, it's not, given the.
Okay, so which circumstances are those?
If you're retired and you're on a fixed income and you've lost your inability, if you're poor and your government passed a shitty bill that cost you your health care and caused you to add up a ton more debt.
Okay.
If you had student loans that you've long ago paid off and you still have $30,000 in interest to pay off, and the government comes and says, no more grace, we're going to take everything you own.
Got it. I got it. Now we got three great examples. Hey, we got 3 great examples of how it's immoral. Now give me 3 great examples of why it's moral.
I think in the case of if you're using that money to make life better for other people, then I would support that.
Okay, so if it's the case that the government comes in and I'm sorry, give me 3. Give me 3, just like you gave me 3 for why it's immoral. Give me 3 for why it's moral.
I can't think of a third option.
You can't think of a third option. So you support property taxes because you think the government is taking that money and then redistributing it to other people?
No, I think they're redistributing it to services for other people, including
to other people. Okay, great. So then why is it the case then
Should I be responsible for paving my own road for a certain distance, or
I'm not making any of these claims. I'm just saying to you, I would like to point out to you real quick, sir, what you said theft was. I'm going to pull up your own definition of it. Repossession of a piece of property when you could have gained it a different way. So by your definition, you are now in a literal performative contradiction, A and not A. You claim that theft is repossession of property when you could have gained it a different way. And then at the same time, you say it's perfectly acceptable to repossess property if it's gained through the same exact means as long as it's redistributed to other people. You're in direct contradiction.
Were you in favor
A and not A? Hang on. I want you to answer to your contradiction. That's A and not A, sir.
I'm getting there, but I'm going to ask a different question to get there. Ready? Were you in favor of student loan forgiveness? Why or why not?
No.
Why not?
Well, you took out the debt. You got to pay the debt back. That's the way it works.
Why is it different on your house, on your property taxes?
It's not.
If you use resources.
It's not. I don't believe taxation's theft. It's your logic, dude.
No, you're asking whether I believe it's moral to repossess property if you don't pay the property tax.
And you said it is.
I said
and
it's
then you said that what theft is repossession of property. Repossession of property which you could have gained through another means. Could the government have just bought your house? That would be another means. And yet you're saying it's perfectly fine for them to seize your house if you don't pay your property tax as long as they're distributing it to another person. That's A and not A. It's a direct contradiction. You idiot.
Okay,
let's fucking idiot.
Yeah, let's ask the question then.
Relax.
God, how are these people this stupid? How are you people this stupid? How are you a journalist for 18 years,
Aren't
dude?
you a dad? Why are you having a
Andrew,
panic
did
attack?
you get your drink yet?
Yeah, you might.
Lord.
More alcohol
baby
maybe
needs
will
his
calm
vodka.
down.
Yeah, well, I need
Holy
it.
mother
You
of
got to
God.
understand from my end, you sound like the dumbest human beings that I've ever talked to. You just gave me a direct logical contradiction and then said, no, that's not absurd because my feelings and stuff.
I've got 3 sons, 31, 27, 24. I think I brought them up to respect women, to not behave in a misogynist way, and to behave in a pretty decent way generally. But I'm also aware that they've grown up in an era when the likes of Andrew Tate and others have become increasingly dominant in the way that a lot of impressionable young men start to think and view women. And for all that Andrew Tate can say that is positive about getting fit and being successful and confident and so on, there's indisputably a hardcore streak of misogyny that runs through his veins, which I think has been quite damaging to young men. So I'm not all in either way here, but I can certainly see the arguments. Where do you sit?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that this. So I watched the show, and it just goes through a typical feminine view, right? So all of these things are always through the prism of the feminine. So young boys, they don't do well in school. They don't do well in school because it's all programmed for the feminine. Stay still, fold your hands, right? Be quiet. Boys are rambunctious. They like to beat each other up. They like to be mischievous. They like to break things. They like to do that kind of stuff. There's no outlet for them to do that stuff. Their teachers are all women, right? There's basically all masculinity is now considered toxic. Basically all of it. The same women who are getting their double shot of espresso on the way over to the school they're about to teach at. They're 24 years old. Sometimes they're banging their own students, right? Hilariously enough. And then these people go out to Parliament. The same women will go to Parliament. They vote to send men off to war to stab each other in the face with bayonets. And you're concerned about toxic masculinity. It cracks me up. It's like the brutal savagery of men is a necessary precondition for society to exist. And we just kind of pretend like it's not. And this show should actually be an indictment on the feminine rather than the masculine, because basically masculinity is just punished everywhere all the time, nonstop. It's no wonder guys like Andrew Tate get so famous in these spaces. I mean, what's the alternative? The alternative is everything must be feminine, tone policing, nonsense like this. It's ridiculous.
All right, James Barr, you were laughing, but I don't think you had a joy what you're hearing.
No, I mean I don't think you've seen the show. Episode 2 is shot entirely in a school. I didn't see one of the female teachers drinking a double shot of espresso at all. None of the teachers were flirting with students. There were male teachers as well. I don't think you're describing the show here. I think you're describing your own insecurities or agenda.
Yeah, so this doesn't contend with the argument. Like, do you understand that I'm making an argument, an indictment of society itself, based around my ideas that I'm seeing from this show? That's what I'm actually doing. So if you could contend with the fact that male savagery is necessary for the security of a nation, and that women will indeed vote in the future in parliaments to send men off to war to stab each other in the face at 18 years old with bayonets, perhaps you can contend with that before we start, getting into, well, tone policing is actually good and toxic masculinity is actually bad. It's like, I think there needs to be a little bit more toxic masculinity, or what you consider to be toxic masculinity.
Well, great. Good for you.
Nothing.
I'm glad you think so.
Nothing.
Well, I mean,
nothing.
I just don't need to argue with that, because
you just unlocked. You just unlocked. You got nothing.
You're making up.
You
an
do
agenda
seem
that
unusually
I've not said
muted by that,
I've not
James.
said anything. I haven't literally said nothing about
James,
toxic
you were literally
masculinity
rendered
at
silent.
all,
Like, you
because
had
there is-
no way of
because
responding.
I'll tell you what, you can't argue with a completely illogical argument that had, like, I've not made any of the
It's a
comments.
logical argument. You may not agree with it.
I've not made any of the
He's making a perfectly
comments
logical argument.
that you are firing at me. None of those comments are things I've said or believe in.
All right, I want to bring Tommy in, because Tommy, you've got a very interesting perspective, I think. You've talked about something different. You call it the pussification of men, which is a great phrase. I'd love you to just explain what you mean by that. But also, you're not a fan of Andrew Tate or the influence he has. So that makes you, I think, an interesting commentator in this area. So just explain, first of all, the pussification of men.
All right, Piers. Well, I think, and I can't see you all, so forgive me if I'm incorrect here, but I think I'm the only female on this panel.
Correct.
So I'm really anxious to weigh in. Okay, so I think over the last probably 10 years, there has been what I call the pussification of men. It was everything should be about your emotions and your feelings, and men were emasculated, and this whole concept of toxic masculinity warped the minds of a lot of young men. And they felt masculine, they wanted to be masculine, but society was telling them they should be softer, that it was being toxically masculine if you wanted to play sports and chop wood and go to war. And so men were so emasculated and so beat down that then there was this revolution of what was actually toxic masculinity, the Tate brothers and others, which I feel as a female that doesn't represent true masculinity. That to me represents douchebaggery. And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me, protect my family, make money. I see that as being actually masculine. That's like the man that I grew up with, my dad. But what we're seeing now is these young men who look at Andrew Tate and the Tate brothers, and they see somebody who's just quite frankly a douchebag and disrespects women. And because they've been so emasculated, they're like, oh, great, that's a manly man. But that's not right either. So at some point, I think we'll go back to maybe meeting in the middle here. You can be a man who has feelings and emotions, but you can also go to war and protect and defend your family. I'm hoping we can get back there. But the two extremes right now, they're confusing men, and quite frankly, they're leaving women with few choices. And that's the real tragedy here.
You see, I completely agree with you, but Andrew, you were shaking your head quite vigorously. Why?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just more feminine or feminist nonsense, ultimately. And the covert feminism in society is big, especially on the conservative side. So here's what happens, right? Women need to have feminine virtues for men to be pursuing masculine virtues, for you to say things like, well, men, what I want is for men to protect me and I want men to make money. Well, that's great. What that ends up doing is it gives you a set of privilege in society. What do men get? What do men get for doing that for you? What are we getting from women for doing that? Are we getting chaste virgins on our wedding night? No, we're not getting chaste virgins on our wedding night. Are we getting women of great virtue? No, we're not getting women of great virtue. The idea of courtly love is supposed to be done for women of great virtue. Where are they? Well, they're nowhere. And so in modernity, in society, when female conservative influencers say this, it's actually a form of covert feminism. They're saying, I want privilege in society, right? But what is it women are giving to men to get it? What are they giving them? Tell me.
Well, can I please chime in here?
Yes, you can. And then James can, and then I'll come to you, Sean.
No, I would love to. I love this whole thing of like, if you're a female conservative and you don't believe that men should be douchebags, that all of a sudden you're a covert feminist. Call me a feminist. I really don't give one crap one way or another, but I can tell you this. A lot of these men, these podcast hosts on the right that like to think of themselves as these big masculine men, and what am I getting out of it? I can tell you this.
There's that feminism.
All right, I believe I'm a woman of virtue, right?
Out.
Yeah, there's the feminism. Oh, and then you're interrupting me too,
Didn't
which
take
is great.
long,
I let
did
you
it?
talk.
Didn't
It's
take
my
long,
turn.
did it?
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to speak
So,
over a man?
yeah, I don't
Are
care
you
if
a
you call me-
strong,
I don't
independent
really care
woman?
if you call me a
strong,
feminist.
independent woman.
Yeah. Yeah. You're actually interrupting me. I didn't interrupt you when you were spewing your bullshit. So now it's my turn. Okay.
You mean
so,
the truth?
Like I said before. So I believe there we go again. Piers, I'm a woman of virtue. I happen to be independently successful. I have a husband who's not only a former professional athlete, but is currently a professional baseball coach. So is he not a masculine man? I mean, I'm confused here. What's your concept of a masculine man? Mine is a man who respects me.
Yeah, that misses the point, though. Like, you're still not contending with the argument that I'm
what's
making.
your point?
I'm saying inside of society, right this second, right, masculinity is not only punished, but also women on the right, covert feminists on the right, are constantly and consistently talking about how they need to have privilege in society. I want men. Their version of masculinity is men who take care of us, men who protect us, men who do all of this. Those are all duties that men have towards women. Great. What are the duties that women have towards men? What are the duties that women have towards anything? What do men get out of this arrangement? What are we getting out of this arrangement? Can you tell me?
I mean,
Well, I
as I
would
was going to
argue
answer
that
a
men
second ago.
innately should be
I don't want to
protectors and
interrupt you.
providers.
Hang on one second. Let Tommy
Most
respond.
men are born that
Let
way.
Tommy respond to that, and then I'll come to you, Jez. And then Sean,
most
you've
men
been
are-
waiting
mo-
patiently. So
most men are born to be protectors and providers. I can't imagine my dad saying, you know what, to my mom, you know what, I'm not going to be a protector and a provider unless you do this. That's not how real men operate. Real men are protectors and providers, and they marry women who hopefully
great.
have
A
some
woman telling
virtue,
us what
but
real
also
men
bring a
are
lot
again.
to the
Great.
table as well, that are great mothers, great wives, caretakers of the home. There's nothing wrong with being a traditional wife and mother. You're misunderstanding me if you think that I think that women should just be out doing whatever they want. I think that there
love getting
are
lectured
gender
by
roles that
women
should
on
be
what real men
respected.
are. That's
but I
great.
don't think a man needs to get something out of it to be a manly man, a protector, and a provider. If you think you
So
need to
nothing.
get
So you
something
should have
out of it,
nothing.
I quite frankly don't consider you a
nothing.
real man.
Yeah, so you have nothing. So you have nothing.
But we'll
No women
discuss
have
in a
no
moment
duties,
whether
nothing.
Andrew
They just
Wilson
get
is a real man.
Piers,
but
Piers,
let's
I
go
offer nothing. I
Let-
offer nothing.
You
He didn't
offer me
offer
a
a
lot
single
of
argument.
things, Tommy.
No.
That's why I always love having you on the show. You know that. Let's go to a real man, James Barr.
Thank you. I do see myself as a man, and I know that you'll be looking at me thinking, well, you're not. You're wearing makeup. You're wearing colourful clothes. Like, look at me. I'm really camp. My nails are
I
painted.
mean, they are worrying
But, you know,
signs. I
you're
agree.
sat there smoking a cigarette. I'd love to get a vape out and start drinking a beer. You know, pints with the lads. Just connect with you over that. I think that you have some insane opinions on what women are meant to do for you. It's crazy that you don't appreciate that a woman actually gave birth to you. Like, she gave you a womb for 9 months and then looked after you, I would hope, for the beginning of your life. And you're sat there going, what do women owe men? Women don't owe men anything. No one owes you anything. You have your own life.
Do you understand that if you make an argument and you say that
I've
women are
watched
supposed
your
to be
seminar on how to win an
in a
argument.
position, if women are supposed to be in a position of privilege where men do A, B, C, and D for them, and then I ask, well, what duties do women have? And you say, well, nothing.
No one said
right?
that
And then you
men
wonder,
need-
why
I
are men
personally,
checking
I don't-
out? I don't know why men are checking out. I don't get it.
You just
That's
are so
silly, man.
funny.
All right,
That's
let
a
me bring
silly
in.
argument.
All right, let me bring in the one person who so far hasn't said a word about this, but has a lot of interesting things to say. Sean, welcome to Uncensored. I mean, I think one of the key things of this series that's made it so popular is that anyone who's had young sons knows that they are, if you're not careful, they get exposed to a lot of nasty stuff on the internet. We all know this. And a lot of it is this kind of incel stuff, which I think can be a really malevolent influence on impressionable young men. And they gravitate to it. And I think that partly what Andrew's getting at, I agree with, in the sense that following the Me Too Time's Up campaigns, which were in many ways, extremely laudable, brought down a lot of very bad men, no question of that. But the pendulum swung so wildly that I think a lot of young men in particular felt completely disenfranchised from society, felt like they're all being treated like a bunch of young Harvey Weinsteins unless they could prove otherwise. They didn't really know what the rules of engagement were with women, with teenage girls anymore, whatever. They lost their way. And by losing their way, they gravitated, I think, to very loud voices on the internet like Andrew Tate, who I think, like I say, he says a lot of stuff I find myself nodding to, and then he'll say this misogynist stuff, which I just despise it. I see no reason why you should ever want to have a relationship with a woman the way that Andrew Tate wants you to, where it's just pure misogyny. Just talk to me first of all about why you think young boys, teenage boys, young men, why they've gravitated to people like Tate. Because I have.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so I think it's, first of all, we got to understand that we have an amazing responsibility as a parent to lead from the home and to have these open conversations with our young children. All right, whether they're male children, female children, we have to make sure that we're having open door conversations and we are tackling the hard subjects. Because if we don't take care of everything at home, we don't take care of everything in public, like at school, and other forces within society that help raise our children, we always say it takes a village. Well, it certainly does, but it starts at home. And if you cannot have these open conversations and allow your children to be honest and open with how they are feeling about society and the things that they are seeing, they are going to go to misogyny. They're going to go to the Andrew and Tristan Tates of the world, and they're going to learn how to be a man from that. And that is not what society needs. It's not what the world needs. That is not masculinity. It is masquerading as misogyny.
How do we protect young men from the easy access at the moment there is to people like Tate? I mean, how do you actually put a ring fence around them so that you can tackle exactly what you've just said, but they're not also being dragged into that world?
It's tough because they're growing up in a world we never grew up in, Piers. We didn't grow up with the internet. We didn't grow up with Bumble, Tinder, Instagram, Facebook.
No, I was taught how to treat women by my mother, my grandmother.
Open the door, right?
Aunts,
Open the door.
A lot of strong women in my family, very strong women, and they would just take no crap from the men. So that's the environment I grew up in.
Absolutely. So how do we insulate our children from this? By having conversations, putting parameters around the social media aspects of life and having the conversations at home. Hey, son, hey, daughter, this is what you're going to see out there in the real world. This is what you're going to see on the internet. If you see something like this, that is not how a true man is supposed to act. And hey, that's not how a real man's supposed to treat you.
Right. So
we have to have the conversations.
Yeah. Andrew, do you intrinsically disagree with what you've just heard?
Yeah, I do. I think, again, all of this is always the burden on men. Burden on men. Burden on men. Men need to be doing this.
No, it's a family, Andrew. The family.
Hang on. Let me finish,
family,
man.
Andrew.
Men need to
husband and wife.
Okay, yeah. So let me back up. Okay. Again, men need to do this. Men need to do that. What I'm talking about is what duties do women have in society? What are the actual women's duties towards men? Everybody is raised from the time they're kids how we're supposed to treat women. We all know how to treat women. We never talk about how men are supposed to be treated. That's almost never discussed, especially by how women are supposed to treat men, what their duties in society are. This has been completely dispelled. Guys like Tate have risen because Christianity itself has become a feminized religion, especially the Protestant sects has become completely feminized. And it didn't used to punish masculinity at all. And now it does. And so where's the alternative? Where's the spiritual alternative? It's nowhere. And we need to get back to this fundamental question of what even is misogyny? Because I don't think that men kicking the crap out of each other, being brutes, insulting each other, hazing each other, even bullying each other is misogyny. Not only do I not think it's misogyny, I think it's perfectly healthy.
Yeah, but I don't think that's misogyny.
Well-adjusted.
Is that the argument?
But that is not misogyny.
Well, no, hang on. How women see this is tone
misogyny
policing.
is where you have a hatred or whatever you want to phrase it towards women. It's not about men treating men.
Sorry, toxic masculinity is what I'm referencing here, and toxic masculinity is what they're claiming leads to misogyny. So what I'm talking about is these are all masculine traits. There's nothing wrong with them, right? When you're talking about misogyny itself,
I want to know what that even is. Is it just asserting yourself to women, telling women no, telling them no, that's bullshit?
No, I would say it's okay. Let me
telling
answer
them you're saying stupid things.
Andrew Tate says he's quite open about it. Women should stay at home. They shouldn't go out to work. They should do what he tells them. He's the king of the castle in his house. Blah 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 blah. That is misogyny, isn't it? You know, I've got a daughter. I've got a 13-year-old daughter. I don't want her thinking she can never leave the house. She's somebody's chattel.
It's not never leaving the house. Look, it is true that the world would be a better place if we didn't have it inverted and women did have a natural role at home and that was glorified and that there was government propaganda around the nuclear family and keeping women home. Why do you want to outsource the raising of children to strangers instead of your wife? That's a way better society. Why do you want your best and brightest women forced to go to a workplace instead of the best and brightest women staying at home raising their children? That's a way better system. It's always been a better system.
I guess we're talking freedom of choice.
That's not misogyny.
Women to do anything. It's freedom of choice. It's freedom of choice. I love the fact that my wife's out there working, teaching kids and building adolescents. I love that. And to your point about what do I get from a woman? I have a home. I have 3 beautiful children. I have communication in the house. And to me, that means more than anything. Like, I don't understand where I'm not saying you're wrong in your world, but to sit there and say to a woman, what do I get out of this woman? That's treating her like an object.
One thing I want to play a clip.
Okay, so it's okay to treat men like objects, give them duties, but you're not allowed to give women duties.
I feel respected.
Okay,
in
well,
my
let me
home.
ask you this:
I'm not
How
angry
come it is
about
in the
it.
United States that men can be drafted? Women can't be drafted, but women can vote to send men to war. 18 years old, they're stabbing each other in the face with bayonets. Women can vote to send men to war that they then themselves do not have to fight. It's a duty that men have, they do not have. What's the counter duty for women? There's no obligation for women to have children. We're well under replacement rate. It's slated 45% of women will be single in the next 10 years, up to 60% in the next 30. That's the estimates right now. Our replacement rate, we can't even replace our own country's birth rates. That's how low they are.
Maybe
this is what we're seeing as
as
a systemic issue inside of society because nobody will put duties on women.
Go on,
Instead,
James.
Maybe it's men like you that are making that
maybe that's why the
Maybe you're the
replacement rate is low.
Yeah,
it's crazy to me as well that you are just sat here.
Don't talk over each other. Let James speak.
I can't understand why you are sat there confidently thinking of yourself as a victim constantly. You have a platform and you're sat here like, I'm a victim. What are women doing for me? What happened in your childhood that has made you so traumatized as an adult that you cannot stand women succeeding? I'm so confused. I feel like the problem is not, and actually maybe this is our fault. Maybe this is the left's fault. Maybe this is modern society's fault for leaving people like you behind. But genuinely, we do not hate men, and toxic masculinity has been thrown around a lot. Ultimately, some of what you're saying is toxic, but that's not because you're a man. That's because you're an idiot.
All right.
Okay. So just to give you a quick rejoinder here, again, didn't contend with a single argument I made. You just said, why are you acting like a victim? While you're here talking about how women are
victims.
You're
not contending with arguments that other people
it's
make.
It's wild to me. It's so wild to me.
You know this is Piers' show.
Let me play another clip.
I know this is Piers' show.
Let me go to Tommy. Tommy, I want to play you a clip. This is from a show called Newsnight on the BBC in the UK, where the host Victoria Derbyshire had a panel of young men on and asked them, when was the last time you cried? Let's watch this. Now, I've got a slight issue with this, Tommy, in the sense that one of the most devastating moments for me as a movie watcher was watching James Bond blubbing in the last Bond movie. Right? I don't think to prove you're a modern man, you need to be sobbing all the time. You know, I can't remember the last time I cried. It doesn't make me less of a man or less empathetic to people or anything. I just think again, the pendulum issue of what we want men to be. I think we're now trying to persuade a lot of young men, if you're not emoting all the time, then you're being suppressed in some way. We have over here the British stiff upper lip, which I think gets a really bad rap. I think it's not a bad thing to actually not over-emote. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think
sorry, Sean, I'll come to you. That was for Tommy. I'll come to you in a minute, Sean.
Oh, sorry, Tom.
For Tommy.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all, Piers. I don't think that men should be trained to be overly emotional and that should be a sign now of new maturity, being emotional. I don't agree with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with men crying in certain circumstances. Listen, everybody has a different journey. Everybody has a different set of circumstances. There are circumstances wherein men crying I have no issue with. It's also not up to me to tell a man when he can or cannot cry. I personally prefer the men in my life not to be overly emotional, but that's just a personal preference. Really, who am I to tell a man how he should exhibit his emotions? But again, I think that there is two sides here that are both too extreme. You've got the one hand that wants men to be feminine and cry and show their emotion and be weak. And then you've got the other side that says you cannot cry, you must always be strong, and you should look at women as an object. So again, there's got to be a happy medium here. I think there once was, but now because of, again, I agree, there was an overreaction of the feminist movement to make men weak. I don't agree with that either.
Yeah.
I just wish we could come to a place where there was a happy medium, where people could just be human beings who could have a gender role, but weren't married to that gender role in absoluteness. There's got to be a place for that. I would certainly hope.
Yeah. Andrew Wilson, when was the last time you cried?
When I had a death in my family.
And how long ago was that, if you don't mind me asking?
Many, many, many years. Many years. I don't know, maybe a decade, something like that.
Right. So you haven't shed a tear in a decade?
I don't think so, no.
Would you see it inherently as a weakness in a man to over-emote?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Men, listen, you don't want men to fall to pieces in crisis. You're the head of a family. You're the head of your household. And also you're the heads of nations. You have a moral obligation not to fall to pieces. In fact, I would say you're duty-bound not to. You need to be able to control your emotions, and you need to be able to attempt to control them at all times. It's not to say that you're not going to lose control. Nobody's perfect. But I think that the idea of the stoic man is a much better prospect for the idea of like this leftist that I'm arguing with next to me on the panel. I would not want to be that guy, that person who just cannot control their internal emotions. They can't do it. And unfortunately, again, this is through the viewpoint of the feminine prism that it's only through empathy, right? Empathy first. And it's like, no, it's not always about empathy. It's also about reason. It's also about logic. It's also about understanding that we live in a carnal world full of warring tribes who are always killing each other. And that's part of the human condition. You can't afford to have your men losing control to emotion or to empathy.
James, when was the last time you didn't cry on a date? Let's flip the question around.
I haven't cried today, but I did cry yesterday, and I think it's okay to cry. And it's funny that you keep trying to goad me and saying that I don't have control of my emotions. I think I have incredible control over my emotions because I know what's upsetting me and when, and I'm able to talk about it.
Well, how often do you cry?
I mean, not all the time, but
every day?
No, not every day, Piers. I cried yesterday.
2 or 3 times
I probably
a week?
haven't cried for about 3 weeks before that. But honestly, my therapist tells me I need to cry, and it's a good relief.
But the point being, Andrew hasn't cried in 10 years.
I think that is such a weakness, Andrew, that you haven't cried in a decade. Like, that's crazy to me.
My therapist told me I could cry.
I'm so worried about you. I can't understand. Well, you're crying now, and please, I happily facilitated that for you.
I think we're seeing the two extremes that Tommy was talking about.
It's honestly, yeah, Tommy, you're so right. There's no nuance. I mean, it's difficult to have nuance on this show anyway, but we do need to find some in this debate.
I think the point is men should not feel they can never emote, but also they shouldn't be encouraged to believe if they're not constantly emoting, there's something wrong with them.
Well, of course, but also...
that's where the pendulum's just gone too far.
You are also sort of guilty of this manosphere, Piers. You're very much in the manosphere yourself.
What do you think that means?
Well, it means that you think James Bond shouldn't cry, and that if he does, that's a weakness.
I want James Bond to be... I want him to seduce women.
Which he does.
I want him to be a ruthless, steely-eyed dealer of death to bad guys.
But also...
I want him to have a cigarette with his whiskey or his shaken, not stirred martini.
Maybe Andrew is your type.
And I don't want him sobbing like a baby all the time. I don't.
Like Tommy might not...
Because guess what? When you're in Her Majesty's Secret Service, you don't have time to cry all the time.
Very sad news about Her Majesty, Piers. Sadly, she did pass away, and I'm sure you cried at that, which is completely
His Majesty
right.
now, obviously.
Tommy,
actually, the last Bond film was under Her Majesty. So I was correct.
Fine. Great fact checking. Tommy would obviously like to go out with a man like you then, because you don't think it's okay for a man to cry.
Well, she has excellent taste.
But there are other
true,
women who do like a man that cries. Like, we're not all the same. We don't all require the same type of man. So it's fine if we all want to be different types of men, but there shouldn't be one rule for all men. And that's the problem.
All right, let me bring Sean back in and bring it back to adolescence, because this series has blown up worldwide. It's got incredible numbers of people watching, talking about it, debating. A lot of parents thinking, what should they do if they have a young teenage boy? You know, and I saw it, as I say, with my 3 sons, the Jonathan Haidt book about cell phones, you know, from 2010, when phones became smartphones, basically young people's brains started scrambling, and they've carried on scrambling ever since. That doesn't help. I think a lot of the issues that young men face are driven by stuff they see on their phone.
I agree. I mean, you know, for this specific instance, my wife and I were waiting to give our children phones until at least 8th grade, right? At least 8th grade. We want to monitor what they're seeing and what they're being filled with, right? Because again, they're subject to search engines. They hear things at school, then they go home, they search it on their phone, they search it in their room, and now they're wide open to this world that they don't need to be a part of because their brains haven't fully formed yet. They're still little. My son's almost 12, right? I got to be very careful of what he puts in his mind. And social media, for the things that we are doing as adults, yeah, it's pouring into our household and we're doing well with it. But for an adolescent, like these young kids, I'm seeing kids at dinners when we're at restaurant surfing TikTok while their parents are not even paying attention to what they're doing. Like that right there is a massive problem. And if we don't, as a society, get a hold of that, then this will never end. There will be more series like Adolescence that hit even harder because we're witnessing it in our own lives.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew, you seem to be in agreement with some of that.
Yeah, it's poison. There's no doubt. It re-scrambles children's brains. And it's very difficult to monitor. Even if you have parental controls, they can find ways around it. At school, they have peers who will assist them in getting around it. You have to monitor it really well. Smartphone technology for my own kids, it was kind of new. I wish that I, in retrospect, had done more guarding against that myself. You don't know the dangers of that technology until children get a hold of it, and then you're left scrambling going, oh man, I wish I had known that this was going on or that was going on, but you have no idea. Now, though, we have a little bit of retrospect, and we know that it's an appropriate thing to do to guide against this type of technology because, yeah, he's absolutely right. It does create all sorts of problems for kids. I'm not sure that gets to the heart of the masculinity and feminine issue, but I totally agree with him that we should be safeguarding our children against this technology. It does seem to be very bad for them.
And James, there is pretty well unfettered pornography on the internet available to young men and women, obviously, but men are watching a lot of often quite violent, degrading sexual scenes in these porn clips they're seeing online. None of that can help in the way an impressionable young male mind goes about trying to forge a real relationship with an actual woman.
Well, I think it's important not to say young male mind. It's any person's mind, right? Like, I don't think we should victimize men. I can't believe Andrew's agreeing with me. But yeah, it's awful. I mean, I genuinely don't think people should have phones until they're 16. They certainly shouldn't have social
Well, Australia's done that, and I'm not against it. The smartphone ban till 16.
I mean, it's terrifying.
Why not?
You can't go on air, on TV, and say whatever you want. Like, I know you're pretending that you're uncensored, but you couldn't sit here and say literally whatever you want.
Yes, you can.
Well, not really, Piers, because if you said something that incited hatred or racism or a terror attack,
I wouldn't want to
you would
say
be arrested.
I wouldn't
but online,
why would I want to incite
I'm not
a terror
saying
attack?
that you want to. I'm just trying to make a point. Online,
you're saying I can't say what I want.
Online,
I do not want to incite a terror attack.
No, but if you did,
I'm allowed. Just you're raising an interesting point about censorship.
Yeah,
we're uncensored because I don't say anything I don't want to say.
Right.
So when you say I'm censoring, I'm actually self-censoring. I'm not. I'm not going to call for a terror attack.
I'm not saying that you would ever do that, of course, but I'm saying that if you did, there would be accountability for that because you are broadcasting to a lot of people.
Right.
But a lot of people online do not have that gate stopping them from saying horrendous things. And so therefore it can blow up online, excuse the horrible pun, and that shouldn't be allowed. There should be a system in place that stops people broadcasting things that aren't meant to be broadcast to millions of people.
One of the problems, Tommy, Toby Young, who's a British journalist, director of Free Speech Union, very, very big in promoting and defending free speech, says Adolescence, the new teen drama, is pro-censorship propaganda, partly paid for by the state. It is now being seized upon by Labour left-wing MPs as evidence we need more online censorship. And that is, of course, you talk about a swinging pendulum. What you don't want to come out of all this is an overreaction and an over-censorship, because that in itself becomes a problem.
Yeah, 100%. And I agree with Sean on this point, too. I think parenting has more to do with this than any of us really, can even understand. I mean, many, I'm sure, in this panel can. But parenting is, to me, the end-all, be-all of all of this. I mean, you can watch horrible things online. You can listen to people say horrible things, but if you've got a good foundation with good parents at home, hopefully two, that provides you with a lot of guidance and support to navigate these things. And it doesn't really, scramble your mind in the way that those that are not blessed with a two-parent household may be impacted by it. I don't believe that censorship is ever the answer. I believe that more speech is the answer to speech that you don't like. And as much as I don't like certain people online and what they say, whether they're the Tate brothers or whoever else, I believe that they should have the right and the ability to say it. And then people like us should have the right and ability to respond to it. I think that's the healthiest way to come to a great consensus, or at least a public square where we can all debate ideas with dialogue and conversation. But I don't think that censorship is ever the answer. And I think that, our leaders in America have done a great job of emphasizing that, especially to the European countries who believe censorship is the way to cleanse or the way to legislate morality. I just don't think that's the way to do it.
Well, the instinctive reaction, certainly in the UK, for a long time now, many years, has been to censor and to ban and prohibit and so on. And I think people are beginning to wake up to the downside of that, is that once you chip away at things like freedom of speech, freedom of expression, you're heading down a pretty slippery road, which can be dictated by your government. And then that's not a place.
It's interesting though, isn't it? I mean, I just want to make a side point, and I don't need to get into it, but your government are banning books. So they are literally talking about free speech whilst also banning free speech in it that they don't agree with. So what you're saying is nice, and I agree with you in principle, but that's not literally what is happening.
It's not the same as banning books.
You talked about freedom of speech, right? And everyone coming together and having a discussion about it. But that's not what's happening.
Yeah, but we're
putting
talking
graphic
about in the
gay
home,
porn
not in
into
school.
children's libraries is a little different.
I mean, no one should be putting porn into a children's library. I think we all agree on that.
Then why are you complaining that that's being
Because that's
banned?
not what I'm discussing. I'm discussing books that talk about diversity, equality, that talk about Black Lives Matter, that talk about gay pride. I don't have the same take as the rest of the panel when it comes to the idea of legislating morality. I think that there are ideas which are subversive and that we can get rid of, and that's absolutely fine to do. I don't think that we need to have unfettered access to pornography. I don't think that we need to have unfettered access to children being introduced to this type of sexuality so young. I don't think that that's necessary at all. I don't think it's an impingement on free speech at all. And not only that, there's going to necessarily be limits on every single freedom that we have. By necessity, that's the way it has to be, unfortunately. And the reason it has to be that way is because otherwise you're going to have nothing but subversives who go in and subvert your entire culture, which is exactly what happened in the UK, and it's exactly what's been happening in the United States. So we have to have some way to fight back against that.
All right, Sean, final word to you.
I just feel like, raising children is a multi-pronged approach, right? I mean, you're looking at first in the house, then you're looking at the schools, you're looking at the government, you're looking at extracurricular activities with coaches, et cetera, and different people that have their hands on the child. I just think it's important to be at home having these open conversations, right? What this drama series did for me was already had this shining light on a subject, but made it even brighter. Like, I need to open the door and talk to my child. I need to talk to my son. I need to talk to my daughter to see what's going on in the world, right? Because if I don't know what's going on, then I can't help them navigate what's going on in society.
But I think, it's interesting. It's been a fascinating debate. I just think if you don't know that your child is going down rabbit holes like that kid is in that series for that length of time, then it comes to Tommy's point, is you're failing your parenting. That is a fundamental part of parenting, is you're supposed to be protecting these impressionable young minds as best you can. If they're spending hours after hour every day, watching and viewing incredibly disturbing content that fries their brains and makes them do stuff they wouldn't otherwise have done, you are failing as a parent. And one of the biggest issues in the world right now is a general sense of a lack of accountability for parents. They're the first feckless parents to blame everybody else. It's the government's fault, it's the police fault, it's the social workers' fault, it's the school teachers' fault, etc., etc. It's never their fault. And actually, if you just start by saying, actually, we should have done more as parents, that is a good message to send everybody. We could probably all agree on that. Great discussion.
Absolutely.
Great discussion. Thank you all very much.
Welcome, citizens of the Crucible, to the Grand Invasion. Today, internet soldiers and battle-hardened debaters from all walks of life will be putting their skills to the test to fight against the most dangerous and poisonous ideology known to man. As we embark on this invasion, know that our enemy is tough, battle-hardened, and ready for us. Only through sheer force of will and perseverance can we succeed. We will adjust our tactics to meet this new global threat which has now emerged and will destroy all of humanity. Our daughters and sons will no longer be subjected to this poisonous ideology unopposed, though some of you may not make it in this conflict. That is a risk the Inquisition is willing to take. By land, sea, and air, the Inquisition will do battle. Our savagery and no mercy debate tactics will be the echo and the war cry of all future generations of keyboard warriors. We dream of a day when this long and protracted invasion ends in complete victory. We must not stop the invasion until a foothold is established and our ideology can spread through the masses. Please, hold your head for the prayer this afternoon. Lord God in heaven, let us destroy our enemies with superior verbal jujitsu, and maybe they be as stupid and inconsistent as they always are. May the degenerates find you waiting for them, ready to fix their broken souls and worldviews as we send them to you with mangled minds. This, Lord, do we pray. Remember our ethos, not one step back, never. Always move forward in the battle against the degenerate. Make them pay for every single inch of ground. Make them regret ever having met us in the glorious field of intellectual battle and internet blood sports. We will never stop until complete and total victory is achieved. This is our mark. This is for our honor and our children's children. May God have mercy on their souls.
Because we're definitely not going to, and never do. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me this fine, what is it? Is it Wednesday? I think it's Wednesday. No, Tuesday. Is it Tuesday or is it Wednesday? What did I find? I think it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. This fine Tuesday night for the glorious TikTok invasion. Let's jump right into it, shall we? Thank you all so much for your support so far. Appreciate it. Let's see what we got out there this evening.
Thanks for watching. There is hope in Jesus Christ. He will never leave you or forsake you. Like and subscribe and join our Discord for friends and more.